John Beltran, Dave Urich back from Bead Digger Stadium. The Indians are coached by Jeff Strasburg. Assisting for Strasburg are Doug Birchfield, Tim Geiger, Skip Harrison, Tom Winter, Steve Stone, and Ryan Blau. Bead Diggers coached by Randy Dreitz. The assistants are Ron Albo, as well as Lance Schwint, Dick Creighton, Matt Manier, and David Cummings. All right, and as these teams are out at midfield for the coin toss, Dave, let's talk about one of the integral parts of this game, and that is that field conditions are not they're not ideal whatsoever. The field looks pretty good from here, but the weather's not.
Yeah, we're sitting here, and it's that time of year where it's plenty dark, and with it being dark like that, you look up towards the lights and you just see that steady mist coming down. You look over at the flag, it's just barely blowing from the north to the south, but you can see that mist just kind of flowing down out of those lights. So, it's one of those things when you're standing out there for a couple of minutes, you don't get wet, but you're out there for, 20 minutes and you're going to be plenty wet. When you get wet like that and you get cold and, you get down by a couple of touchdowns, it could be a quick game.
Let's hope it's a quick game, and if it's a quick game, that usually favors Brush. I mean, I know Mitch Tormolin has thrown a touchdown pass in each of his 18 starts, but they're still a running football team. The Bead Diggers are dressed in their home maroons with the white numerals, and Strasburg in their road whites with the orange numerals and the black helmets. And the opening kickoff tonight is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance with 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions or needs. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance, keep in mind part of our Beat Digger Nation segment at halftime will include the live announcements of the homecoming king and queen. Jesus Cardenas will kick it off for Brush. And looks like back deep to receive for Strasburg. One of the 2 men out there is Brian Nichols. And the other looks like Spencer Blau. Yeah, let's see how it affects the kicking game as well, Dave, because that's going to be an issue, I would think. I mean, both offenders for Strasburg standing at their own 15-yard line. They're not even back inside the 10.
Yeah, you got to look for people to have to. Going to look for people to have to run straight ahead. They're not going to be able to plant their foot, very much. And the kicker's definitely got to be able to plant his foot to be able to kick off.
Yeah, you got to run up slowly to the ball. That's a good point because Jesus could easily slip. But he's successful there. Booms it high and pretty deep, and that goes over the head of Nichols into the end zone. That one bounced it around the 7-yard line all the way through. So that's where Strasburg has the football first at their own 20-yard line. And let's see if the Bead Diggers can respond defensively and get this game going in their direction pretty quickly. Last week they run to a running clock in the third quarter on their way to a 48-0 victory. We know that Strasburg certainly will provide better competition than University did. University hung in there for a little while until the Bead Diggers broke through with those 2 second-quarter touchdowns, and all of a sudden a 2-touchdown lead was 4 touchdowns at halftime. The quarterback is a freshman in Mitchell Martin. One of the feature backs will be Spencer Blau. They're bunched in tight. Under center is the freshman Martin. 1st and 10 for the 20. Man in motion to the left. And there is the pitch left, cutting it back to the inside. And hit right there is Jake Morrow. Jake Morrow hits the running back at the 19-yard line. That's Brian Nichols. It's a loss of 1. 2nd down and 11 for the Indians.
Strasburg came out with a sort of a double wing look, but they were unbalanced to the left side because they had a tight end on this side, and then the guy that would normally be the tight end on the other side, he walked over here to the left side as well, and he was in a standing position with the wing back there. So they're going to try to run some power against us, and here they go unbalanced over to the right side now with the double wing look.
Yeah, very bunched up. 2nd down and 11 for the 19. Man in motion to the right. There's the pitch to Spencer Blau. Cuts it back to the inside. He's hit at the 20-yard line, a gain of 1. The Bead Diggers are bunching up very nicely, and it looked like the first Bead Digger in on the play was Ben Mickey. Mickey, a junior, coming in from his defensive back position. 3rd down and 10 after the 1-yard gain by Blau.
So they tried to sweep to the right and sweep to the left and try to spread us out, but tonight Brush is back up there in that 4-man front, that 4-3 look, and that gives them extra linebackers back there where they can spread out right along with them.
Sophomore Joe Carwin lining up over the Strasburg center in a shotgun formation, 3rd and 10 for the 20. Martin's got the football, looking to his left, deep over the middle, wide open and complete. Not wide open, but had a slight seam in there, intended for Spencer Blau, well overthrown. It'll be 4th down and 10. Bead Diggers had decent coverage. There was, like I mentioned, a small seam, but the pass would have had to have been perfect to be completed. Instead, the Bead Diggers are going to have the football less than a minute and a half into this game as Strasburg has to punt.
And this is a big game, for Strasburg. They're not going to be able to make those mistakes like that, a lot like Atlanta tonight in their baseball game.
Oh, boy, those 3 errors, Dave. Don't get me going. Don't get me going. Dave's going to ride me all night about the Cardinals' 6-3 win. To punt is Spencer Blau standing at his own 6-yard line. Perfect snap. There's a heavy rush looking to fake it, and now he's going to try to punt out of it, running to his right. He gets the ball off. It bounces at the 45, takes a huge Strasburg roll inside the 50 to the 46 as Randy Baker was back to receive. I think the punter, Blau, thought it was going to be blocked as a Bead Digger was oncoming. Instead, it turns into a 34-yard punt, Bead Digger football at their own 46-yard line. Dave, they got away with one there.
Yeah, they did. The Diggers had their normal 4-man front up there, but Rosenbrock was on the outside. He had a free shot to try to block the punt, which is what your outside guys do that are up on the line. He went in there pursuing it. Lucky enough for Strasburg, the kid was able to stop, change directions a little bit, and get that punt off. And then they got that lucky roll.
1st and 10 for the Bead Diggers at their own 46-yard line. Mitch Tormolen's the quarterback. Kyle Rosenbrock and Eddie Arribas are in the backfield. Tormolen will hand it off to Arribas on the counter. He's going to be stuffed in the backfield. There was no blocking on that side, and he was taken down by a couple of Indians. It's a loss all the way back to close to the 41-yard line. Let's see where it's going to be spotted. It'll be 2nd down. A loss of about 4 to the 42.
Strasburg's in a 4-3 as well, but what they did is they had their 4 guys up there, and they took their outside linebackers and they walked them up there at the very end. They call that stemming. They moved them up at the very last minute, and that caused some confusion for our blockers.
Austin Pullman led the charge. 2nd and 14. Handoff right up the gut. A big hole for Rosenbrock to the 50. Into the secondary at the 40. By himself at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown for Rosenbrock. Right up the gut. 58 yards, and the Bead Diggers grab an early 6-0 lead.
That's exactly what Strasburg did again. They walked those guys up on the outside. They had all their guys stacked up on the outside. There's nobody in the middle. They had 2 safeties, but they were lined out more across from the tight ends. So Rosenbrock runs that trap up the middle, and once he got past the linebacker, there was nobody left to tackle him.
Extra point coming up for Jesus Cardenas. David, like you mentioned, there wasn't really an opportunity for Strasburg to make the tackle because of their defensive strategy.
Yeah, they were in that, like I said, they started out in a 4-3, and then they walk 2 guys up on the outside even more, so that changes it more to more like a 6-2 sort of a look, and 2 safeties back there. They just don't have anybody to stop that inside running game.
The extra point is partially blocked. 9:35 to go opening quarter. Brush 6, Strasburg nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Big play there by Kyle Rosenbrock on his first carry. He goes 58 yards. And just like that, the Bead Diggers lead 6-0. The extra point was blocked. Jesus Cardenas to kick it off. We're only 2 minutes and 25 seconds into the game. Brian Nichols and Spencer Blau back to receive. Jesus runs up to the football. This one is higher and shorter. It'll bounce at the 16, and it rolls towards the end zone. Picked up by Nichols at the 1. Stutter steps, gets to about the 5-yard line. Then he spins his way across the 10, maybe to the 11. Bead Diggers could have held him back even further, but Strasburg once again, Dave, in poor field position.
Yeah, that was one of those balls you got to field. And they have 2 guys back there deep. Cardenas kicks it sort of in the middle of the 2. Neither one of them knows who's going to get it. It bounces on about the 10, and that's hard to catch a football that's bouncing around, and they had to let it roll.
Well, it was a fielding mistake, very similar to what the Braves did in their wild card playoff game against the St. Louis Cardinals. Cost them today, and they lost 6-3.
And I think the more we talk about that game, the better it's going to be for you.
It's like therapy, Dave.
Yeah, it's a
You're
therapeutic
right.
football game.
I need to get this off my chest because most of my day has been ruined already. 1st and 10 under center is the quarterback Mitchell Martin lining up on the right hash. In motion is Spencer Blau, and there's the give. And looks like for a loss to the other back. Is that Brian Nichols there who had the football? Nope, Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith gets the ball, and Tyler Stratman makes the play. Back at the 10-yard line, a loss of 1. 2nd down and 11 to go for the Indians. The Bead Digger run defense is very good so far.
Yeah, Strasburg's trying to run that double wing like what we've seen Faith Christian. And, there's a lot of misdirection that's given us fits all year. Linebackers following the ball instead of reading their keys, but everybody's doing a good job tonight.
On 2nd and 11 from the 10, man in motion to the left, and there is the pitch, and running left is Nichols, and he cannot swing it to the outside as he has stood up. Too many Bead Diggers in there as far as the Indians are concerned, and led over there by Maverick Seawald and Ben Mickey, who had the initial penetration, dropping him back at about the 8-yard line, a loss of 2. And it is 3rd down and 13, and Strasburg has been going backwards their first 2 drives.
Yeah, they just can't get up ahead of steam. That guy comes in motion from the right side in that double wing, and he runs all the way back around the tailback in the back, and then the quarterback pitches them the ball, and they're pulling people over there and trying to get a lot of blockers up there at the point of attack, but it's just not doing them any good because our Diggers have so much speed on defense.
3rd down and 13 for the Indians at their own 8-yard line. The Bead Diggers lead 6-0 on a 58-yard scamper by Kyle Rosenbrock. And there is the give on the reverse coming left and nothing doing. In fact, another loss. And it looked like Ben Mickey once again. No, check that. Randy Baker made the play. Back to the 5-yard line as Brian Nichols was thrown to the ground. A loss of 3. Outstanding defense by the Bead Diggers. 4th down and 16 to go for the Indians.
Yeah, they're not falling for any of that trickery. And the Indians showing that they don't want to throw the ball very well. And the combination ground attack for them so far is just a minus 6 yards.
Spencer Blau in his own end zone. Randy Baker back deep to receive at the Strasburg 45. Awaiting the snap. It's a high one, but he's got it. He gets it off high and a very short kick. Bead Diggers got to watch out that it doesn't hit them. The ball takes a Strasburg roll as it bounces at the 30 all the way across the 35 to about the 39-yard line. A punt of 34 yards. Once again, with 7:11 to go in the opening quarter, the Bead Diggers have outstanding field position.
Well, that was a nice punt. You got to give him credit. Had a lot of hang time, and there was a spiral to it. Boy, he just had a really good punt there, and it's too bad the Diggers couldn't get some pressure on him, but they didn't try to put any pressure on him. They were setting up the return.
1st and 10, we'll call it the Strasburg 39-yard line. With Brush up 6-0, lining up on the right side of the field. 2 receivers out to the right. The setbacks once again are Rosenbrock and Arribas. On 1st down in Strasburg territory. Tormolen hands it off to Rosenbrock, running left to the 35-yard line. Spins inside the 35, though. Looked like he was going to be down there to the 34. The initial hit was made by Austin Pullman, the sophomore. It's a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 to go for Brush.
The same play they ran to score the touchdown the last series. They just ran it straight ahead at him. And, I'm looking at that Strasburg defense trying to figure out what they're doing. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the name of that is. They have some guy. They're letting their linebackers walk up there. This time they have 4 defensive linemen on one side of the ball.
2nd and 5 for the Strasburg 34. Another handoff. This is Arribas up the gut. Drives to the 30. Still going inside the 30 towards the 29, maybe the 28. Very close to a 1st down. He's right at the marker. We'll give him a gain of 5 yards. Spencer Blau made the tackle. They might have to measure. Nope, they're going to give him the 1st down just inside the Strasburg 29-yard line. Your one-stop center for projects around your home office or yard is Ackley Building Center, and they now carry appliances. Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush. 1st and 10 for the Bead Diggers at the 29-yard line of the Indians, looking to extend a 6-0 lead on a very misty night and a cold one here, homecoming night in Brush. On 1st down, Tormolen hands it off. Running left is Rosenbrock inside the 25, still on his feet to the 20, up the left sideline to the 15. He's dragged to the ground, but it's another sizable gain for Kyle Rosenbrock and a Bead Digger 1st down to the 11. He gets 18 yards on that play.
Takes him to 81 yards on 3 carries, so he's right back to the action we've been used to him with him carrying the ball. But I'm telling you, those linemen are doing a good job of making some blocks. And it's a tough thing to do considering Strasburg comes out with such an unconventional defensive line every time.
If the B-Diggers score here, Dave, you'd think Strasburg would have to make some adjustments defensively. 1st and 10 at the 11 of Strasburg. So the B-Diggers can still get a first down. Tormolen on first down. Turns, hands it off right up the guts of Rosenbrock. Breaks a tackle. He's into the end zone. He was hit at the 10, and he scores from 11 yards away. With 6:05 to go in the opening quarter. Brush 12, Strasburg nothing.
So you see how good a coaching staff we have. These guys up here in the booth, Matt Menier and David Cummings, call down to the coaches on the field and tell them, look, they got defensive linemen, but they got 4 of them on one side of the ball and only 2 of them on this other side, and there's a huge hole there. So the coaches are just running it to the weak side because obviously Strasburg's told their defensive linemen to always flood the side of the field where our tight end is. So the coaches are just running it to the weak side and finding a lot of running room.
The B-Diggers will go for 2 after the blocked extra point following the first touchdown. Arribas and Tormolen in the backfield, handoff to Rosenbrock, and he scores. I meant to say Rosenbrock in the backfield. He's in for the 2-point conversion. 6:05 to go, opening quarter. It is Brush 14, Strasburg nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Urich back from B-Digger Stadium on homecoming night. The B-Diggers take advantage of excellent field position, and they score on their second drive. 4 plays, 39 yards in less than 1 minute. Kyle Rosenbrock scores from 11 yards out. He runs in the 2-point conversion, and the B-Diggers lead 14-0. And Dave, so far I've got Strasburg with a total of minus 6 yards in the game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have right now. 1 pass try and no completions.
This kickoff is high and fairly deep, fielded at the 10. Running straight ahead is Nichols to the 20. Looks for a seam. Across the 30. Fumbles the football. It's loose. I think Strasburg jumped on it at the 34-yard line. They did. And they get a big break there. So Strasburg with their best field position of the night. And they got a break recovering that fumble, unlike the Atlanta Braves, who couldn't get any breaks today from a left field umpire. So 1st and 10 for Strasburg at the 33-yard line.
You know, that umpire went out. He didn't wake up today looking forward to ruining the day for all the Braves fans, though. I got to believe that guy was looking forward to seeing a great game that the Braves didn't bring.
That's part of it, too. 1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 33. B-Diggers leading 14-0 on a 58 and an 11-yard touchdown run, along with a 2-point conversion following the second touchdown, all by Kyle Rosenbrock. Mitchell Martin out of the shotgun. Blouse in motion to the right. He's got the handoff running wide to the right across the 35. Tackled at about the 36, maybe the 37. Kyle Rosenbrock had the first hit for the B-Diggers. I guess they're going to make the official spot the 34 to begin the possession. A gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 to go on the carry by Spencer Blau.
So they're just running that pitch. They bring that guy in motion. They pull a guard on one side, and then they lead block with everybody else and just really flood the zone. And they're running behind the blocking of a huge tight end over there that's 6'7".
2nd down, we'll actually call it 8 from the 36-yard line. Under center is Martin, and is going to hand it off on the left side, cutting it back towards the middle and gaining nothing as Brian Nichols, the B-Digger, stood him up. And Jake Morrow, the first B-Digger in on the play, and Ben Mickey's also been hitting hard tonight. It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it once again, well, close to 7 maybe to go for the Indians. Boy, maybe half a yard there by Brian Nichols on the carry. That
was more like our fly offense where we sent our guy in motion from way on the outside. That time he didn't run back around his tailback. He ran right behind the quarterback, and it was a real fast handoff, but it didn't fool anybody. The Diggers are used to seeing that because they run against their own offense all the time.
Out of a shotgun formation, 3rd down and 7 from the 37. Martin awaits the snap, and the direct snap to Martin, rolling to his right, setting up, throwing to his right, incomplete. There is a flag down back at the 32-yard line as the B-Diggers had some pressure. And more than likely, this will be against Strasburg, and the B-Diggers would decline it if that is indeed the case. With 4:31 to go in the opening quarter, it is holding against Strasburg, and the B-Diggers holding a 14-0 advantage. So Brush undoubtedly will decline that penalty. And Spencer Blau, once again, will have to punt for the Indians. And, this Indians team, going into this game, they obviously, with 3 wins, they've shown some talent, Dave. But like I said, we'd find out tonight if the Bee Diggers are back to the old Bee Diggers. And if you go back to the University game, in the last 51 and a half minutes of football, the Bee Diggers have outscored their opponent 62-0. So perhaps they are back. Blau standing at his own 25-yard line. Randy Baker at his own 28. Blau waiting the snap. That's a good one. He gets it off, and that is a fluttering punt towards the right sideline. Bounces at the 36, takes a side roll, a slight roll for Brush to the 37-yard line. So once again, the Bee Diggers with excellent field position, with 4:21 to go in the first quarter, leading 14-0. And they're off to a better start in this game than they were last Saturday against University. Dave, it took them a while to get into the rhythm of that game, but they've exploded tonight on both ends of the football.
They sure have, considering they've only had 6 offensive plays. It's just that, our plays are huge. And again, we're taking over the line of scrimmages there. Even though Strasburg's got a real big, that 6'7" defensive end and another big guy at the nose guard position, the Diggers are controlling them. 1st
and 10, the Bee Diggers have the football at their own 37. Tormolen hands it off to Arriba, spinning across the 40. Still on his feet, he's down to the 42. The first hit was made by Dugan Warner, the 6'7", 210-pound defensive lineman. Spencer Blau also in on the play. That's a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 to go for Brush.
It's their big defensive lineman that's playing across from our guards. His name's Miguel Rojo, 6'2", 275 pounds. So he's a big lunch out there.
The officials doing their best to keep the football dry in between plays. On this rainy night in Brush, 2nd down and 5 for the 42-yard line. Backs remain split. Tormolen is going to hand it off on the counter, running left, and is Michael Gutierrez. The ball is fumbled and it's loose, picked up by Strasburg up the right sideline, and diving for a touchdown. I believe that could be Blau, and it is a score for Strasburg on the fumble recovery. And it was Spencer Blau, and the fumble by Michael Gutierrez on his first carry of the game returned 42 yards for a score. And it's all of a sudden a 14-6 game. The Bee Diggers are stunned with that score.
Yeah, they were trying to run it was a play off of that trap where they fake it to our fullback up the middle, and then they run our halfback off tackle on the other side. So there's a little bit of misdirection there. Mike was trying to run it out over there, and he just got tangled up, and you can bet those Indians were ripping and tearing at the football. When it's real cold and freezy like this, it's hard to hold on to.
Spencer Blau will attempt the extra point. All of a sudden, it's a brand new game. You figure the Bee Diggers had control, even though it's early on, but moving the football very easily, up 14-0 now. Looking to make it a 14-7 game. Off the hold of Mitchell Martin. A very high snap goes over his head. Picked up by Blau at the 25. Then he's going to be tackled at the 28-yard line by Jake Brown. 3:27 to go. First quarter. It is Brush 14, Strasburg 6 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 42-yard fumble recovery by Spencer Blau. Off the fumble by Michael Gutierrez gets Strasburg on the board. The Bee Diggers now lead 14-6 with 3:27 to go. Very slow-moving first quarter. Dominated by Brush. Strasburg still has negative yardage, but that can happen when you give the ball away. Teams take advantage of mistakes, as the St. Louis Cardinals did today against the Atlanta Braves in a 6-3 victory.
I'm glad we're keeping this tally of how many times we hammer the Braves for the stupid mistakes they made today. That's 5 tonight. We've been able to.
And we're not out of the first quarter, Dave.
Yeah, if we get 20 of them total, you'll probably feel good and be able to rest tonight.
You're absolutely right. Spencer Blau from the left hash mark will kick it off for Strasburg, with the Bee Diggers up by 8 points. 2 offensive touchdowns for Brush, a defensive one for Strasburg, and that's a line drive. Bounces at the 13, and it rolls around, picked up by Baker at the 8, straight ahead to the 10, across the 15, finds a seam to the 20, then he slips and is down at the 23. Brandon Reagan, a freshman, credited with the tackle. And Brush will have it right there with 3:20 to go in the opening quarter. Again, with an 8-point advantage. The friendly staff at High Plains Bank at Wiggins is ready to assist you with a home loan, equity line of credit, commercial loan, or checking account. To receive hometown service in Higher Plain, visit High Plains Bank today. 1st and 10 for the Bead Diggers at their own 23-yard line. Let's see if they can unleash another big play. Looks like Arribas is back in the backfield along with Kyle Rosenbrock. Handoff Rosenbrock right up the gut, and he is driven back. And there's a late flag. Rosenbrock was hit at the line of scrimmage by a bevy of Indians. Now let's see what the flag is all about. And that came in very late, Dave.
Yeah, it did. You know, Strasburg, again, they lined up. We had all of our receivers over on the left side, or on our left side. So Strasburg lined up with the other, those 5 defensive linemen. They put 4 of them from the center over. So they're really clogging up the strong side of our field. Then they leave one guy over here across from our defensive end, and they walk a linebacker up in that spot. So, you know, they're really leaving the weak side of our line wide open.
No gain for Rosenbrock, but a 5-yard face mask against Strasburg, which means the face mask was not being pulled. So the Bead Diggers have it 1st and 5 at their own 28-yard line. 2:52 to go in the opening quarter, with Brush holding a 14-6 lead. On 1st and 5 for the 28. Again, Rosenbrock and Arribas in the backfield. There's the handoff. Arribas right up the middle, and he dives to about the 30, maybe the 31-yard line. And the big man made the hit there for Strasburg, Miguel Romo, the man that Dave referenced. It is a gain of 3, 2nd down and 2 for Brush.
270 pounds is a lot of blocking, boy, if you have to push a guy like that out of the way.
From the 31, one receiver out to the left. Bead Diggers have not thrown the football yet. Tormolin on the bootleg right. Tons of running room to the 35, along the sideline to the 40. He's at the 50, up the sideline, and he's still on his feet and knocked down inside the 25-yard line. They're going to backtrack him to the 28, maybe the 29. But a big gain of 41 yards for Mitch Tormolin and a Bead Digger first down. He nearly went the distance but was tripped up.
He sure did. You know, we ran it from about the middle of the field over there. And so by the time he got over here to the sideline, since they only have 2 safeties back, both of those guys had a decent angle they could take on him without a lot of traffic to have to run through. So it was kind of at Mitch's disadvantage there. He just needed one more blocker.
Tormolin gets play instructions for the sideline as we approach the 2-minute mark of the opening quarter. Brown is the receiver to the left. 1st and 10 for the Bead Diggers at the Strasburg 28-yard line. Kyle Rosenbrock has 2 touchdowns in the game. Handoff, Arribas up the middle, and he's bulling his way and spinning to about the 25, maybe the 24. That's a solid 4 yards for Eddie Arribas, as the initial hit there was made by Dugan Warner. 2nd down and 6 to go for Brush.
Arribas' first carry was a -3, but since then, now that he's up to 5 carries, he's had carries of 2, or of 5, 3, and 5. So he's really picking it up.
2nd down and 6 to go for the Bead Diggers at the 24-yard line of the Indians. Brush leading 14-6. Tormolin hands it off to Rosenbrock, running right to the 20-yard line to the 15, up the right sideline, 10-5, and easy touchdown for Kyle Rosenbrock from 24 yards out. His 3rd touchdown of the game. Brush 20, Strasburg 6.
You know, again, Strasburg was gambling, and they had I've been saying it all night. They had all their defensive linemen over on the wide side of the field. They had 1 defensive end over here on the Brush side of the field. They had a linebacker. They walked up in that slot. There's just nobody there. If they're able to block down on those guys and then kick that defensive end out, there's just nobody there to make the tackle.
58, 11, and 24-yard touchdown runs by Kyle Rosenbrock. And, Dave, I assume he's over 100 yards in the first quarter.
He's got 113 yards now on 6 carries.
Mitch Tormolin to hold. Let's see if they can get off this extra point and kick it through the uprights. Very high. Tormolin has to field it. He's going to have to throw off his back foot, and the pass is incomplete underneath, intended for Randy Baker. So we've had a couple of bad snaps on extra points, both on each side. We have played nearly an entire quarter. 1 minute, 9 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Brush 20, Strasburg 6 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 5 plays, 77 yards in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Kyle Rosenbrock from 24 yards out as the Bead Diggers are 6-0 in this series and now lead Strasburg 20-6. 41-0, 48-7, 69-18 in 2008. 35-20 in 2009. Dave, you remember what night of the week that was? That was Monday night,
Monday
Dave.
night. That's what I was going to say. You caught me there for a minute. I had to think.
And there's a kick to the 12. Straight ahead is Brian Nichols to the 20. Aseem across the 35, taking it to the outside to the 50. He's got Jesus to beat across the 40, up the right sideline to the 20, and he's going to be tripped up along the far sideline. I believe that's Randy Baker who tripped him up. But a huge return all the way to about the 12. And that return goes for about 78 yards for Brian Nichols, and Strasburg is in business.
Every one of the teams we played against that's had a big return, they always return it to that side. So our kickoff team, the left side of our kickoff team is just struggling over there, staying in their lanes and being able to slow them down before they get up ahead of steam.
Yeah, that football is going to be just shy of the 11. They'll mark it at the 12-yard line, a brush. But Strasburg is staying in this game because of one defensive play and another on special teams. 1st and 10 for the Beet Digger 12. Man in motion is Blau. There's the pitch to Blau, and then, I think, was that a counter? Blau, it was just a fake over there on the left side. And Tyler Stratman made the tackle after a short gain. Dave, there were all types of fakes there. And, yeah, the pitch was to Jacob Smith. And the gain is only one of the play, 2nd down and 9. They do a good job. They certainly fooled me on there, but they didn't fool the Beet Diggers, which is more important.
Yeah, Blau was the guy that was in motion coming from the right side, and they faked the pitch to him really quick and then handed off the trap up the middle like we used to do with Geno.
2nd down and 9 for the Beet Digger 11. Beet Diggers lead 20-6 under center as the quarterback Mitchell Martin back to throw, rolling to his right, throwing off his back foot towards the end zone. It's tipped up and incomplete. It was nearly caught, nearly intercepted. Then it was just tipped out of bounds, and it's 3rd down. And, Dave, I don't think the kicking game is going to play much of a positive role tonight, so this has got to be 4-down territory for Strasburg.
Yeah, they've got to go for it. But, they got the receiver to throw to. Holy cow, that guy's 6'7", and the quarterback just dropped back. Martin dropped back there and just threw it up in the air. He threw it above everybody else's heads and expected him to go up and catch it.
Yeah, intended there for the tight end, Dugan Warner.
Yeah, he tipped it with one hand. He jumped up and tipped it, so he was almost able to bring down that reception.
3rd down and 9 from the Beet Digger 11. 7.5 seconds to go in a very slow-moving first quarter. In a shotgun is Martin, and now we have a timeout called by Strasburg. We'll keep it right here. The Beet Diggers have 3 touchdowns tonight from Kyle Rosenbrock, and it looks like the Brush offense can do whatever they want tonight, but you have to eliminate, obviously, those big plays that Strasburg has come up with, and none of those have been on offense yet.
Nope. Like you said, we had the big fumble return after Mikey Gutierrez fumbled it on that 37, and then the kickoff return. That's all Strasburg's been able to accumulate. They've only had a total of -3 yards offense tonight.
Stop, shop, and save with all of your grocery needs and snacks for game time enjoyment to the Brush Grocery Cart at 1302 West Edison Street in Brush. And, of course, we'll have some game video on YouTube on our KSIR B106 channel. Check out the video from earlier games this year, from last year, from 2010, from 2009. We're been racking up all the videos there on YouTube on our KSIR B106 channel of Brush Beet Digger football and some other sports as well. 3rd and 9 from the 11. Mitchell Martin is in a shotgun. Man in motion to the left. And Martin will take it himself to the 10, straight ahead to the 5, and he's going to score. Mitchell Martin just right up the gut off the fake from 11 yards out. Strasburg is back on the board. Brush 20, Strasburg 12.
Well, that's given us fits over the years, covering that quarterback. Remember a couple of years ago, Eaton did that to us with their little quarterback when we played down there. It's the same kind of deal where he faked the handoff and then he just ran it straight ahead. Just a real similar to play than what we saw the Reds do.
Spencer Blau now to attempt the extra point. Last time the snap was extremely high, and Blau had to pick it up at the 25-yard line off the hold of Mitchell Martin. This one is a perfect snap, and that kick is up. That looks good. It is good. With 2.3 seconds to go, we'll wait for the kickoff, and that will signal the end of the opening quarter unless the ball goes out of bounds or out of the end zone. But right now, the Beet Diggers are holding on to a 7-point lead, 33 points combined in this opening quarter, and it seems the Beet Diggers have really had to earn theirs, and Strasburg has had 2 big plays, one which scored their first and the other which set up their second.
Yeah, we've had our share of big plays too, but I think the nervousness that you're feeling is is rightful because, you let a team stick around and you let people keep it close. A lot of times, all it takes is a couple bad things, and a couple bad things happen, and you're in trouble. So Diggers have to do a better job of trying to put these guys away.
The fewest points scored in this matchup was in 2004, 41-0. 41-0 in 04. Then they combined for 55 points in 05, 87 in 08, 55 in 09, 56 in 2010, and last year combining for 77 points. So, Dave, we shouldn't be surprised based on the history of this matchup.
Yep, we're going to see a lot of points scored. That makes it fun, but it can make for a long game, and maybe as cold as it is, and with that rain coming down, I'm still seeing that mist drifting down past the lights out there coming from the north to the south. It's just getting a little thicker now to where it's a little more difficult to see the individual drops.
Spencer Blau to kick it off for Strasburg. Runs up to the football and line drive, and it's caught at the 18-yard line by Arribas to the 20, running to his left to the 25, down at about the 29-yard line. That's the end of the opening quarter with a score. Brush 20, Strasburg 13 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Well, the Bean Diggers have been very proficient on offense as they have scored on all three possessions. Unfortunately, it's not even the defense. It was the offense that gave away one touchdown and the special teams a second one. So the Bean Diggers have the football. 1st and 10 to begin the second quarter. 20-13 is the score. I'm John Beltran with Dave Yerg on Homecoming Night. Our Bean Digger Nation segment coming up at halftime will include the live announcement of the Homecoming King and Queen. On 1st and 10, the backs are split. Tormolin hands it off right up the gut, and driving across the 30 to about the 34 is Kyle Rosenbrock. He never, ever goes down on first contact. He always gains those extra 2 or 3 yards. And in this case, he picked up a total of 5, 2nd down and 5 to go.
He's fun to watch because he's that kind of guy. That's his mentality, is just to go 100 miles an hour all the time. You're going to get 100% effort every single time. You're never going to see him give up. And because of that, when a lot of other people have that tendency to let up here and there because of the fact he's always going 100 miles an hour, he breaks a lot of tackles.
2nd down and 5 for the Bean Diggers at their own 34-yard line. Tormolin hands it off left side across the 35 to the 40, and driving is Jake Morrow towards the 45-yard line, running extremely hard. He's got a first down. Damon Chavarria, the 5'8", 175-pound senior linebacker, makes the play, but that's a gain of close to 11 for Jake Morrow.
Jake's one of those guys, too. He's really strong, and I'll tell you what, you give him the ball, he's not going to go down either because he's got that fight to him.
Oh, yeah. Extremely hard to bring down. B&B Appliance at 502 Ensign and Wiggins can help you save water, energy, and the environment without sacrificing quality and performance. Change for the better with B&B Appliance. 1st and 10 for the Bean Diggers. That ball's just shy of the 45-yard line. Baker's in motion to the right. Tormolin is going to pitch it right to Arribas, swinging it to the outside. Stutter steps back towards the middle, and he backs his way towards the 50-yard line for a gain of 5. Before he's brought down by Chavarria once again. 2nd down and 5 to go for Brush, just shy of midfield.
Now, Strasburg's got 9 guys up there in the box. If we have a wide out, if we have 2 tight ends and then just 1 flanker out wide, they send 1 guy out with him, and then they keep a free safety in there tight, but everybody else is up there within about 4 or 5 yards of the ball. So, again, the Diggers are just waiting for them to blitz 1 guy. We run a trap, and our inside guy is going to be off to the races.
1 receiver out to the right. That's Guzman. 2nd and 5 from the 50. Tormolin on the bootleg left. He's got some running room to the 50, to the 45, along the left sideline to the 35. Trying to outrace a defender to the 15, to the 10, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. Well, actually knocked out of bounds well before the 15 or the 10 at the 20-yard line. But still, it's a nice pickup of 30 yards for Mitch Tormolin. He's got 2 bootlegs there, Dave, for 71 yards.
Yeah, big yardage for Mitch. But again, they have all those guys stacked up in there between our tight ends. And we just get 1 guy down there to block 1 guy and cause some traffic. We could run outside on them all day long, too. I think it just goes to show, when guys have different strategies that they use on defense, coaches like Coach Dreitz and Coach Manier and Coach Swint, boy, they can take advantage of those things.
1st and 10 for the Bean Diggers at the 20-yard line of Strasburg, up 20-13 with 10:03 to go in the second quarter. Tormolin hands it off to Rosenbrock, running right. He runs into a defender but keeps driving to the 15-yard line after he was hit at about the 17. along the right side. It's a gain of 5 for Rosenbrock. 2nd down and 5 to go for the Beet Diggers.
122 yards for Kyle, 71 for Tremolin, 20 for Arrives. Morrow carried the ball once for 11. They're just chewing up the yards.
Well, is this the game that Mitch Tormolin does not throw a touchdown pass? 18 starts, a touchdown pass in every game, considering how dominant the Beet Diggers are on the ground. 2nd and 5 from the 15-yard line. Tormolin back to throw off the play action, looking over the middle. That pass is going to be caught. Is that a touchdown? And it is a touchdown for Baker. No. Just short. All right. I mean, I heard it up in the booth, but just short. And that's a gain of 14 yards. So it's 1st and goal for the Beet Diggers at the 1. Yeah, I was hearing one thing, seeing another, and it's not a touchdown, but the Beet Diggers are 1 yard away. And let's see who's going to get the carry. Rosenbrock and Arribas are in the backfield from the 1. Man in motion to the left. Tormolin hands it off to Rosenbrock, running left. He's into the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the game. Brush, 26, Strasburg 13 with 8:53 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, basically walked in the end zone. It was off-tackle play. He had some good blocking. One of the Strasburg defenders was able to get an arm tackle attempt on him, but he's so strong he just kept both hands over the nose of the football on each side and just ran it into the end zone.
Well, the Beet Diggers have had issues with their extra points. So they are going to go for 2. First one was blocked. Then they made a 2-point conversion. Second one, or third, after the 3rd touchdown, a bad snap. Tormolin with a man in motion to the left is going to hand it off to the deep man. I think that's Rosenbrock, and he's going to be into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. The Beet Diggers now have a 28-13 lead on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 7 plays, 71 yards in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Kyle Rosenbrock scores from a yard out. Big play of the drive, that 30-yard bootleg by Mitch Tormolin. Rosenbrock ran in the 2-point conversion. He's been responsible for all 28 points because he's got 4 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. As a result, the Beet Diggers have a 28-13 lead. But, Dave, here's a big play coming up because special teams is what got Strasburg back into the game. And the Beet Diggers have got to do something about it right now.
Yeah, I think the left side of our kickoff team is just going to have to. They got to stay in their lanes, and they got to make those tackles. They can't allow themselves to get blocked out of the way.
There's a low line drive. It's going to be caught. I think a knee was down. It was, but Dugan Warner's knee was down, but he caught it on the fly at the 38-yard line.
As tall as he is, it's hard to believe he got a knee down on that thing.
Now let's see if the Beet Diggers can do something defensively, get that ball back, and go up by 3 scores. It looked like the Beet Diggers were going to break it open in the first quarter, but that's when Spencer Blau returned a fumble, 42 yards for a touchdown. Brush does have their biggest advantage of the game. 1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 38-yard line. Mitchell Martin in a shotgun with 2 receivers out to the right. Nichols in motion to the left. Football is dropped by the quarterback, but Martin takes it up the middle. He's got some decent yardage, still driving, and Kyle Rosenbrock drives him back, but not before he got to about the 45-yard line, a gain of close to 7 for the quarterback, Mitchell Martin. It'll be 2nd and a long 3 to go for Strasburg.
18 yards for him now on 2 carries, but again, that was a broken play. He was supposed to hand it off. He just picked it up and ran it straight ahead. The Diggers have got to do a better job of tackling. Still, again, tackling really high and allowing him to keep his feet. Going to have to get dirty and knock his legs out from underneath of him.
Yeah, unquestionable. Especially with the weather the way it is, although I don't see the mist like I did in the first quarter. 2nd down, and we have another timeout called. And this will be the 2nd timeout taken by Strasburg. We'll take it with them. 8:04 to go, 2nd quarter. Strasburg trails Brush 28-13 on homecoming night in Brush on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran back with Dave Urich at Beet Digger Stadium. Strasburg has the football, 2nd down and 3, just shy of their 45-yard line. with Brush in the lead, 28-13 on 4 touchdown runs from Kyle Rosenbrock. 2 receivers out to the right, 2 to the left. Out of a shotgun is Martin. Nichols in motion to the left. Martin takes it up the middle. He's got a first down to the right side at the 49-yard line before he's taken down. Penetration there by Kyle Rosenbrock. And other tacklers in there, Alec Peterson and Tyler Stratman. But it is a gain of 4 for Mitchell Martin. And the sticks move for the Indians.
So they sent our guy in motion, or they sent their inside wideout on motion, their flanker, from the right to the left, and when we did that, that moved our strong safety over with them, and then they turned around ran that quarterback counter over here to where our strong safety wasn't.
1st and 10 for the Indians, just past their own 49-yard line. Brush holding a 28-13 lead with 7:47 to go in the second, and Spencer Blau is in motion, and it looked like Oscar Soto jumped on the right side. That should set up a 1st and 5 now for Strasburg, and it will.
That's their 4th biggest play of the night.
Yeah, you're right, because the 2 biggest plays have
Actually,
not been on offense.
Play, huh? 3rd biggest play of the night.
Well, I think you're right. It was the 4th.
At least, though.
Oh, offensively, yeah. You're right about that. 1st and 5 for Strasburg inside the Beat Digger 46-yard line. 2 receivers split each side. Martin out of a shotgun. Nichols in motion to the left. Quarterback keeper right up the middle to the 40. Big hole to the 35. He's into the secondary across the 30 to the 26. And the tackle was made by Eddie Arribas. A gain of 20 for Martin and a 1st down for the Indians.
They got our Achilles heel now where linebackers struggle because they get to following that motion and looking at everything in the backfield and not watching where the guards are blocking and see who's blocking down on what. It was just a quarterback keeper up the middle, just like what Eaton ran against us a couple years ago.
And the Beat Diggers have to take a timeout. That is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Let the State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy to fit your life, home, auto, life, health. State Farm Insurance is there for you and your family. Give Greg Mullen a call today, 842-4555, or, of course, anytime during the week. Greg Mullen at State Farm Insurance after the gain of 20 there by Mitchell Martin puts Strasburg in business at the Beat Digger 26-yard line. And Indians have been playing catch-up, but they're still in this game, Dave, because we got a lot of football to play.
Yep, you let them hang around. You know, they hang around like that. Bad things happen, but, you know, that's kind of been something we've struggled with over the years is just, you know, I think a lot of defenses do that. You know, you account for everybody else, but you don't count on the quarterback running the ball. And that's one of the reasons our bootleg's so effective so many times. And now they're just running a bootleg against us, only it's just right up the gut, and it's hurting.
Shotgun for the Indians. Mitchell Martin, the freshman quarterback, with Nichols in motion to the left. 2-step drop, and we have a flag. And let's see who that is thrown against. I think I saw one of the officials signal illegal procedure, and that's the case. So the Indians will be backed up to the 31-yard line. That'll make it 1st and 15. Brush's local Napa and Hardware Hanks and Small Engine Repair Shop is Hometown Auto and Hardware. Stop by and let them help you at 1305 Edison Street, Hometown Auto and Hardware. 1st and 15 for the Indians at the Beat Digger 31-yard line. Brush 28, Strasburg 13, 7:13 remaining, second quarter. On a homecoming night, a wet one and a cold one. 2 receivers out to the left and to the right. Nichols in motion to the left. Martin will hand it off to Nichols, running wide to the left, has a seam to the 30-yard line, inside the 25. Breaks a tackle. The Beat Diggers are doing a horrendous job of tackling, close to a 1st down at about the 16-yard line, maybe the 15. It's a gain of 16 for Brian Nichols and a Strasburg 1st down.
Yeah, nothing fancy. It was just that in round where the play before, you know, when their quarterback Mitchell went for such a long run, they faked it to that guy and then ran it with their quarterback. That time they handed it to him, and now they got us guessing.
Under center is Martin. And the ball is dropped, but I think Martin jumped on it. Right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10 to go for the Beat Digger 15-yard line.
Well, good for us. They fumbled the ball there. It puts them to 2nd down, and the Diggers flew out in there right at the very end of the play and tried to jump on the football and wrestle it away, but the officials didn't fall for it.
Bee Diggers have led the entire game, but have been unable to put the Indians away. 2nd down and 10 to go from the 15-yard line of Brush. Again, receivers split out to the left and the right. This time Martin will not be under center. He'll be in a shotgun. Awaiting the snap, man in motion to the right, and the snap goes to Jacob Smith running up the left side inside the 10, and he's still driving towards the 9. Eddie Arribas was the first man in on the hit, but that's a gain of 6 for Jacob Smith. That'll set up a 3rd down and 4 to go at the Bee Digger 9.
Yeah, they just snapped it to the other guy instead of the quarterback, and the Diggers weren't ready for that, were they? He was on the right side of the quarterback, and he actually ran it over to the left side. So they had a little misdirection with it as well.
Not that you have to key on Mitchell Martin here, but, you know, they had that play on the other drive in the first quarter. But this time he's under center. 3rd and 4 from the Bee Digger 9. Man in motion to the right. There's a couple of handoffs. Nichols running left. He cuts it back towards the middle, and he's going to spin towards the 6-yard line, very close to a 1st down, as the tackle was made over there by Ben Mickey. A gain of 3. And that's going to be 4th down. And, boy, about half a yard, Dave. That ball is at the 6-yard line. And they will go for it, approaching the 5-minute mark. Martin under center this time. Nichols in motion to the left. Handoff. Nichols, 1st down inside the 5. He's going to be driven back, but he's going to be at the 4, maybe the 3, as the ball is being spotted. Looks like it's being spotted at about the 3. We'll give him 3 yards for Nichols on the play. 1st and goal, just shy of the 3-yard line.
Nichols has got 16 yards now. 7 carries. Boy, they've had to work hard to get those yards.
Martin will hand it off to Blau running right. He's going to lose yardage. He ran east and west, and he's going to be down at the 5. Alec Peterson with a penetration loss of 2 by Spencer Blau, and here comes the 10th play of the drive. Bee Diggers will have plenty of time once they get the football back. It's 4.5 to go in the opening half, up by 15.
The margin of the game is so close, we're nervous about it, but you look at their running back production, they've only got 23 yards running for them in the first half so far.
2nd and goal for the 5. Martin under center. Let's see if Nichols gets the football. He's in motion. Instead, the handoff to Smith up the middle. Drives inside the 5 to about the 2. And Jake Morrow and Maverick Seawald in on the play. It's a gain of 3 for Jacob Smith. 3rd and goal from the 2 for Strasburg.
Strasburg's got so much misdirection going on there in the backfield. It's just getting our guys to follow in that too much, and we're not reading our blocks or reading those blockers very well, and it's causing us to put ourselves out of position.
3rd and goal. The Indians up to the line. They're at the 2-yard line. Smith is in the backfield. Mitchell Martin is under center. Man in motion. There's the handoff to Smith. He's going to get maybe half a yard. The Bee Diggers were right there on the right side of their defensive line to throw him back. And Seawald and Eddie Arribas in on the play. He's going to get to the 1. A gain of 1 for Smith. 4th and goal. We're going to be under 3 minutes before the next play commences.
Boy, the boys did a good job at keeping their feet driving, didn't they? They made that contact right there, and then they actually drove him back so he didn't have a chance to fall forward.
Here it is, 4th and goal for the 1. The 12th play of the drive. Strasburg can get back into the game with a touchdown. Martin under center. Man in motion is Nichols. There's the handoff up the middle. That should be a touchdown, and it is. Right up the gut for Jacob Smith. Brush 28, Strasburg 19.
So Smith's got 11 yards on 6 carries now, bringing their running back total up to 28 yards. You combine that with their quarterbacks running at 42 yards. You know, they're only up to 70 yards total offense, all of it on the ground. Well, but they're keeping the game close with it.
And they held the football for 6 minutes and 12 seconds, a 62-yard drive. Now let's see if Strasburg elects to go for 2 and make this a 7-point game. And again, this is just reminiscent of what we've seen in past years. Lots of points scored in this series. The fewest number of points, 41, and that was the very first time these teams played in 2004. All right, so they'll line up on the left side and go for two. Two receivers out to the left and two to the right. Bee-Diggers can keep this at a two-score game if they keep Strasburg out of the end zone. Naked backfield. Martin under center. Martin rolling to his right, looking to throw. Pressure coming, throws off his back foot. Pass is caught by Smith. He catches it in the end zone for the two-point conversion. 2:39 to go, first half. Brush 28, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The Indians to kick it off after that 12-play, 62-yard drive in over 6 minutes. Jacob Smith on 4th and goal for the one scores.
So while we wait for the kickoff, there in the break, did you find out how some of the other teams in the major leagues did tonight?
Orioles and Rangers deadlocked at 1, Dave. We know the Braves lost to the Cardinals 6-3. We can't mention that enough.
Well, it's just important that we talk about it as much as we can.
Yeah, I know. It is therapeutic. Spencer Blau to kick it off. Well, I really got a lot to get off my chest. 4 touchdown runs by Kyle Rosenbach, but that's barely enough to give the Bee-Diggers the lead. And Blau will squib the ball. It's going to be picked up at the 25-yard line across the 35 to the 38. That was Michael Gutierrez. And the Bee-Diggers with excellent field position. They've got 2 timeouts remaining in 2 minutes and 34 seconds and receive the second half kickoff. So it's their time right now. They'll mark it at the 37 with, again, 2:34 to go before the break.
We got to get warmed up. Those guys that don't play any defense, they got to be a little chilly over there since they haven't been on the field for so long.
Well, the Bee-Diggers don't need to pass the football, not with the running game they've exhibited. I mean, if there was less than a minute to go, maybe. 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. Backs are split. There's the handoff to Rosenbach, and he has a couple of yards to the 39. And that's about it. Driven back by the middle of that defensive line, led by Tanner Fahey, the 6'2", 215-pound junior. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Bee-Diggers. They're not going to hurry in that huddle. They don't want to give the ball back to Strasburg should they not get a first down. And Strasburg only has 1 timeout with 2:07 to go before the break. 2nd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. Tormolen, bootleg left, gets a block to the 40-yard line, swings it to the left sideline to the 43, and then it's going to be taken down out of bounds. Short of a first down, though. And that's Fahey again. Let's see, he got to the 43. And that'll be a gain of 4 on the play. That'll be 3rd down and 4 to go for Brush. Big play here, Dave.
Yep. Try to run that bootleg over here to the short side of the field, keeping the ball away from the Indians' bench and trying to run it in front of us. And Tremolin just ran out of running room.
3rd down and 4 from their own 43-yard line. Strasburg's got a few players up at the line of scrimmage. Tormolen back to throw, looking, throwing it over the right side. The pass going to be caught up the 30-yard line to the 25, breaking free to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. That is Ben Mickey who broke free for the touchdown, 57 yards. And Brush now leads Strasburg 34-21.
So the cousin connection finally was fruitful right there at the end. Mickey was wide open. He had about 4 yards on him. Again, Strasburg's got 9 guys up there in the box and playing more of a gambling defense. Mickey got behind the free safeties, and Tremolin did a really good job with a little bit of late pressure even of lobbing the ball up and giving Mickey a chance to run underneath of it and make the catch. And there was 2 guys there that tried to make the tackle. I think both of them thought the other guy was going to do it. Must be getting cold out there because they didn't want to make a tackle there, and Mickey just broke the little one they tried to provide and ran right into the end zone.
Bee-Diggers will go for 2 once again. 19th consecutive game that Tormolen's thrown a touchdown pass. Handoff, Rosenbach, left side, he spins, and he is in for the 2-point conversion. 1:45 to go before the break. Brush 36, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 3 plays, 63 yards in 49 seconds. Checked out a 57-yard pass on 3rd and 4 from Mitch Tormolen to Ben Mickey, and he was wide open along the right side. and broke a tackle. The Beat Diggers now lead 36-21 after another 2-point conversion run by Rosenbrock, his third of the night. And this is Brush's second 15-point lead, but they've been up by 14. They've been up by double digits a few times in this game, Dave, but they can't put Strasburg away.
Yeah, Strasburg just keeps hanging in there.
And that ball is squibbed, and it bounces into Dugan Warner's hand, and then he is leveled by Christian DeLong at the 40-yard line, maybe the 41. A return of about 3 yards, and you would think here that Strasburg might have to put up the ball unless they get a big play off on the ground.
Well, they've shown that they can throw the ball, but I still think the biggest threat is, us not being disciplined and not reading the blocks and staying home and allowing their quarterback, Mitchell, to run those quarterback draws so effectively.
1 timeout remaining for Strasburg. 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line, and they really want to score here because Brush receives a second-half kickoff. 2 receivers out to each side. Mitchell Martin is in a shotgun. Nichols in motion to the left, and he's got the football, trying to run it wide to the left. The flag is down across the 45-yard line. Then he's held up at the 47 for a gain of 7. Maverick Seawald was in on the play, but let's see if Nichols got free because of a holding penalty, and that looks like that will be the call, as indicated by one of the back officials.
Yeah, that flag was thrown over there where typically a guy ends up trying to hook the guy or trying to get his arm outside of him when they change directions.
The hold against Strasburg will push them back inside of the 35-yard line to the 31. So it'll be 1st and 20 to go for Strasburg. If the Beat Diggers can make a couple of plays, you're going to call timeout and get the football back.
You bet. Try to put a few more points up on the board there. Strasburg's shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, the clock is running, though. Even after a penalty, it runs. The Beat Diggers are going to have to use their 2 timeouts. 1st and 20 for Strasburg at their own 31. Mitchell Martin out of a shotgun has the football, looking right, throws it out in the flat, caught by Nichols along the sideline, and he's going to be taken out of bounds. There's a late flag at the 42-yard line is where he went out of bounds, maybe the 43. Is that another penalty against the offense?
Yeah, it was one of those plays where they have it's like a wide receiver screen, and so the first receiver out there, the big tall guy we've been talking about tonight, Werner, he runs out there and makes a block when they throw the pass, and you can see he's really letting the officials have it, and he's yelling at him. He better be careful. He's going to pick up another 15 yards.
Let's see if they give Nichols some yardage there on the reception, because that holding was after they made a few yards. Let's see, it's essentially a 5-yard pass to Nichols and then a 10-yard penalty. So it's 1st and 25 to go for Strasburg at their own 26-yard line, and the clock continues to roll. I thought he went out of bounds. Man in motion to the left. There's a snap. The handoff is to Nichols. He's going to hit by Maverick Seawald, or get hit, I should say, across the 25 to the 28. Beat Diggers are not calling time yet with 42 seconds to go. The clock continues to roll. And again, they only have 2 timeouts remaining, so they might have to wait an additional play. And the gain is 2 yards for Nichols. We're down to 27 seconds to go. Yeah, Strasburg's going to try to eat up time. And the Beat Diggers could use their timeouts, but they'll have to use them after each of the next 2 plays. And, boy, they wouldn't have much time left anyway. We're down to 15 seconds to go. 2nd down and 23. The handoff to Blau running right along the sideline, and he's going to be taken out of bounds with 6 seconds to go at about the 30-yard line. Tyler Stratman chased him down, a gain of 2 for Blau. Well, Dave, at this point, after this play, now you can use a timeout after the next play. You'd have 1 remaining, but the time is almost out.
It's almost like we should have used those timeouts a lot earlier, just trying to hopefully get that ball back to try to put 1 more score up before the half. But, the coaches know their players, and maybe they're feeling they need to just get into the halftime shed and warm up a little bit.
3rd and 21 for Strasburg at their own 30. Mitchell Martin running wide to the left, tries to get around Baker, cannot. Baker throws him for a loss back at the 22-yard line. There is still time left on the clock, and the Beat Diggers want to take a timeout. They won't. That amounts to a loss of 8 yards on the play. And we are at the break. We'll have homecoming festivities coming up as part of Beat Digger Nation. The score, Brush 36, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Urich back from Beat Digger Stadium on homecoming night with the Beat Diggers lead the Strasburg Indians 36-21. Special thanks to Brush High School principal Dave Vondi once again for joining us at halftime during the Beat Digger Nation segment. Jesus Cardenas, the homecoming king, and Alex White, the homecoming queen for 2012. Dave, let's run through the halftime numbers, starting with the Beat Diggers, who did lots on the ground so far in the opening half, although they did have a nice pass play to end that first half, that 57-yarder, I believe it was, that went from Mitch Tormol to Ben Mickey.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, extend Mitch's touchdown passing streak with Randy Baker earlier in the game with that 14-yard pass that he came down with on the 1-yard line. Ended up throwing to his cousin, Ben Mickey, for 57 yards, 71 yards total. So 2 passes attempted, 2 completed. They ended up running the ball for 230 yards. The number 1 running back today for the Diggers is Kyle Rosenbrock. Carried the ball 10 times for 125 yards. Eddie Arrives has 6 carries for 20 yards, and Jake Morrow has 1 carry for 11 yards. Then you take a look at Mitch Tremol and 3 bootlegs. He hasn't had a lot of luck with those bootlegs the last couple of weeks. Today's carried the ball 3 times for 74 yards.
Dave, at the Strasburg side of the ledger, they were doing nothing in the opening quarter, but they came together with that 6-minute and 12-second drive, so that certainly boosted their numbers, and virtually all on the ground.
Right. They had 8 yards total in the first quarter. They ended up with 73, so 65 yards they ended up in the second quarter. They had 26 offensive plays compared to 22 plays for Brush. Like you said, they had some big runs. Most of those were Martin Mitchell, the quarterback, running those quarterback draws. 5 carries for 34 yards. He had 42 there for a bit, but he ended up having that 8-yard sack there at the end of the game. He threw the ball 3 times. He completed 1 of those for 5 yards. The rest of their running backs, Nickel started having some luck there at the end, but that's because they were running that end around with him, and then they'd fake it to him, and then Martin would run it up the middle, or else they'd go ahead and give it to him. So one of those 2 guys was going to be open, and then Strasburg was getting lucky, and Nichols was getting open. So 20 yards on 8 carries. Blouse had 4 carries for 3 yards, and then Smith ended up picking some yards up with some just pounding up the middle, 11 yards on 6 carries. So really Strasburg 73 yards in the first half. It's amazing that they're even in the game, but they are, because they've scored some points, with the fumble recovery, with the return. It makes things tough when you let a team linger around.
78-yard kickoff return by Brian Nichols set up their second score, that 11-yard run by Mitchell Martin, and their scoring got started on that 42-yard fumble return by Spencer Blau, the only carry by Michael Gutierrez, which unfortunately for him went very bad. And then they would garner another touchdown, a 12-play drive that, as I mentioned, went over 6 minutes and 62 yards, the 1-yard run by Jacob Smith. Then they had the 2-point conversion pass, making it 28-21. The Beat Diggers, though, do receive the second half kickoff, so everything worked out for Brush. They didn't want to go into halftime, Dave, with a single-digit lead. You've got a double-digit lead. It's your biggest lead of the game. You've got a chance now to go up by 3 touchdowns, and who knows if they can just be more consistent on defense, which they actually played pretty good defense, with the exception of that one drive. It was that one drive because they were, you couldn't even run by them in the first 2 drives. So if they can just pick up the defense and get back to where they were, they'll be okay in the second half. Yeah,
I think, just the fact that Martin was able to come up with that one long carry, that 20-yard carry there to start that drive. I think that kind of shell-shocked us a little bit, and then we ended up on our heels and had a little frustration. We had to call a timeout because guys were running all over the place on defense, and so we just couldn't settle down and stay disciplined defensively. And, that's something that really cost us against Platte Valley and Eaton at the end of the game, with our defense just bending a little bit too much and guys maybe trying to do too much sometimes. So, the Diggers were able to regroup, though, and they sure shut them down there at the end of the first half.
Well, the Beat Diggers will have 2 road games after this against Valley and Sterling, and then play Fort Lupton here in Brush to close out the regular season. So, again, it's basically playoffs every game for Brush because, as you mentioned at the outset of the broadcast, that if you're going to make it into the playoffs for Brush, it's basically going to be as the third team out of the Patriot League following Eaton and Platte Valley. By the way, those two teams will hook up next Friday in Eaton. And that essentially will be for the Patriot League championship. And if the Bee Diggers get lucky, they could play for second, but they would need Eaton actually to lose two other games because they've got the tiebreak over Brush. So the Bee Diggers are really playing for third place. But, Dave, we found out 3 years ago after Brush started off 0-4, they ran the table in the regular season, were the 12th seed, and got to the state semifinals. Really, anything can happen once you get to the playoffs.
Exactly. Remember, Platte Valley won the title, and they were the 12th seed that year. So, anything can happen. I know tonight I was over here talking to Paul Acosta, at the announcers table. He said that Valley was actually beating Eaton earlier tonight. So, I know Eaton came back. I think they're ahead 21-14 right now, but, Valley's giving them a battle. So, there's another team that could keep things close and give the Diggers trouble next week, but maybe they're going to make Eaton stumble this week.
Well, if the Bee Diggers get by Strasburg here, or maybe not get by, but just win this game convincingly, then that game next week in Gilchrist could be for third place in the Patriot League. I think that's very realistic looking at the standings right now, unless, as you mentioned, Eaton is knocked off by Valley tonight. All right, the Bee Diggers will receive the kickoff here in the second half, leading 36-21. The only touchdown not scored by Kyle Rosenbrock was that 57-yard reception by Ben Mickey. And what Brush needs, they need a big return on special teams, because if you look at the yardage differential on kickoff returns, the Bee Diggers are getting murdered in that category.
I remember one big return, that was Randy Baker. That was the only big return we had all year. And
that was against Platte Valley in that 63-7 loss. He went for about 50-some-odd yards. But we know that Nate Alexander had two big returns for Fort Morgan against Brush. One went for a touchdown. We saw the 78-yarder here by Brian Nichols in the opening half. Just those three alone far outweigh what the Bee Diggers have done, really, outside of the Baker return you just mentioned moments ago. All right, Baker will be back to receive, and Spencer Blau to kick it off for the Indians.
The Indians kick off with the formation we used to use in Brush, where they have three guys over on one side, and then they kick it from the hash mark rather than the middle of the field. But they send a guy from the near side clear over there. They sprint one guy from this side clear over to the other side to try to mess our blocking scheme up. But it seems like they're just making that guy really tired.
Blau runs up to the football, and he's going to squib it. It's headed towards the sideline and out of bounds at about the 31-yard line, so the Bee Diggers will have excellent field position. They've really had good field position all night, and they had great field position for the most part last week against University, with the exception of starting on their own 7-yard line, and that drive lasted one play, a 93-yarder by Kyle Rosenbrock. So the football, they're going to mark it where it went out of bounds. Unless a Bee Digger touched the football.
No, I'm not sure that we did, but nobody's saying anything and nobody's arguing it. So
that's not a punt. Thought that football would be placed at the 35-yard line or the 40.
I didn't see a guy touch it.
All right, 1st and 10 for Brush at their own 31-yard line. Tormolin under center. There's the handoff to Rosenbrock running left. Breaks a tackle at the 35. Across the 40. Into the secondary at the 50. With a stiff arm to the 35. And Rosenbrock is dragged down inside the 35 to about the 32. And there might be a face mask at the end of the play. It's a gain of 38 yards and a first down for Brush and maybe more.
Yeah, either that or they grabbed him by the back of the shoulder pads and jerked him down. The only other penalty that could be is if they get Rosenbrock for the stiff arm, because he did get his hand up in the defender's face when he was stiff arming him.
Right, and I think that's what's going to happen. It'll be a 38-yard and a first down and a face mask against Rosenbrock, but it's only a 5-yarder, so he still gets the 38 yards, and it's still a first down, so it really doesn't hurt the Bee Diggers. They've got the football at the 36-yard line of Strasburg, up 36-21, 10 seconds into the third quarter.
So 163 yards now for Rosenbrock, but what a nice run, again, right up the middle. Strasburg's got those 6 guys up on the line and 2 linebackers, and
Receiver split left and right on 1st and 10 for the 36. Tormolen back to throw, looking, heaving it up the left sideline. A man is out there in Brown, and it's incomplete. Oh, he nearly had that football. I think it went underneath his hands. Tormolen led him a little bit too much towards the middle. It'll be 2nd down and 10, but a very good idea, and Brown had the defender beat by a step.
Yeah, that's going to force that Strasburg defense to play a little more honest and not have those guys all stacked up there on the line of scrimmage, which is going to create more room for our running game. But like you said, Tormolen, when he threw it out there, Brown was going to beat the kid. He needed to throw it over his outside shoulder, but he threw it too far to the inside, and Brown had to veer over into the end zone to try to make the catch, and it was just too far to run.
2nd down and 10 from the 36-yard line. The backs are split. Tormolen will hand it off to Rosenbrock, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and dives to the 35. The tackle was made, I believe, by Dugan Warner, the 6'7", 210-pound senior. It's a gain of 1. 3rd and 9 to go for Brush at the Strasburg 35 in what is 4-down territory.
Yeah, we were following the pulling guard Victor Lopez, who came from the right side back over here to the left side, but our back wasn't able to cut over behind him because he got hit right at the line of scrimmage when he needed to follow that guard's block.
On 3rd and 9 for the Strasburg 35. Tormolen hands it off up the middle to Rosenbrock, breaks a tackle. He dives to about the 30, still going. 2nd and 3rd effort inside the 30 to the 28. I mean, that was just hard yards by Rosenbrock. A gain of 7. Should have been a gain of 4 or 5. Instead, it's just 4th down and 2 to go for Brush.
170 now for Rosenbrock. And, on that play, we had a few of our blockers that were kind of standing up and watching him do the work, and they needed to jump on and start to help push him. Get behind him and push him down the field.
Bay Diggers will go for it on 4th down and 2 from the Strasburg 28-yard line. Tormolen with a hard count. He's going to hand it off to Rosenbrock, running left, and he spins. He's got a 1st down as he stretches the football out towards the 25. I think he's got a 1st down. Boy, that's very close. They might have to measure. He's got the gain of 2, perhaps 3. I tell you what, from this vantage point, I think that's a poor spot. That is a very poor spot. If I had to guess, oh, boy, that's just close. I'm almost thinking that's going to go the other way. But they're going to bring the chains across. It is a gain of 2 for Rosenbrock. The question is whether it's enough for the 1st down. Now I think it is a 1st down. They stretch. That's going to be a 1st down for the Bee Diggers. Got it by a couple of inches as they brought the chains across the way, and the drive continues at the Strasburg 26-yard line. Nearly 2 minutes in to the second half, of the Bee Diggers up 36-21, but that was scary, Dave.
It was awful close, but they ran behind Stratman and Seawald, and those two getting Ben Mickey over there. I'll tell you what, Stratman and Seawald have really been doing the job over there on that offensive line on the left side.
Randy Baker's the receiver to the right. To the left, it's Nico Guzman. 1st and 10 for the Bee Diggers at the Strasburg 26-yard line. Tormolen is going to hand it off on the counter to Arribas across the 25, dives to the 23. Jacob Smith had the initial hit for Strasburg, 2nd down and 7.
They were blitzing that time. When they were trying to blitz, we were able to pick it up with our pulling guard. Just really opened up that hole for Arribas.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East at 1209 Main Street in Fort Morgan will professionally fit you into the car or truck of your choice. Serving all of Northeast Colorado, Ehrlich Toyota East. 2nd down and 7 for Brush at the Strasburg 23-yard line. Tormolen on the bootleg left, holds it on his left hip, tries to swing it to the outside. He's down after a short gain to perhaps the 21, as the hit was made by Detmer Oliver, the 5'8", 145-pound sophomore defensive back, a gain of 2. 3rd down and 5 to go for Brush.
Tormolen was 77 yards now on those 4 bootlegs, but, running over here to the short side of the field, he just didn't have a lot of room to run and didn't get a chance to use his speed to make it to the corner and turn it upfield.
3rd and 5 at the Strasburg 21. Bee Diggers up 36-21. Less than 9 minutes to go in the 3rd. Tormolen rolling to his right, looking to throw, setting up, throws to his right. That pass is incomplete. Slipping was the receiver, Nico Guzman, thrown a little bit behind him at about the 11. 4th down and 5. The Bee Diggers will have to try to convert again on 4th down on this drive.
Schmollen was running that bootleg right. So they run that fake bootleg right. There was the defensive end and then also a linebacker that came up there and got right in his face, and they actually put a pretty good hit on him after he threw the football.
4th and 5 for Brush at the Strasburg 21. The Bee-Diggers will go for it. Up by 15, but obviously looking for more. On 4th down, Tormolin is going to roll to his right. Still rolling. Throws short. That pass is going to be incomplete. A diving attempt by Jake Brown at the 11, but the ball was thrown too low. Very little chance for Brown to make that catch. And Strasburg will take over on downs with 8:43 to go in the third, trailing 36-21.
It was like a waggle pass, sort of, where the quarterback never really sets up, and Schmollen was running to the favored side since he's right-handed, but he was never really attacking the line of scrimmage. He was running more straight towards the Strasburg sideline, and when he threw it, he had to throw it across his body, and it was just about 3 or 4 yards short of where it needed to be.
1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 21-yard line. Well, they could get right back into the game. They've already done it on 3 separate occasions, drawing to within single digits. In a shotgun is Martin. In motion is Brian Nichols. He's got the football in the handoff. He breaks out of a tackle, runs to his left across the 20 to about the 23. Maverick Seawald had the penetration. Oscar Soto made the tackle. 2nd down and 8 after the gain of 2 from Nichols.
Now watch this backside. I zeroed in on Stratman, who's our 4-down lineman. He's our stand-up defensive end because we always have out of the 4 of them, one of them standing up. And boy, after they were running to that other side, he stood there, and you could see he wasn't going to over-pursue, and he just stood there and watched that quarterback. So we obviously have a guy that's standing there making sure that Martin's not going to be able to run that quarterback draw without at least somebody touching him.
From the 23 in a shotgun, back to throw is Martin. Heaves it deep over the middle. The pass is going to be intercepted by Jake Brown. A diving interception at the 48-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 49 of Strasburg, and the Bee-Diggers have come up with a big turnover on defense.
We had some pretty good pressure on the quarterback. Not enough for him not to be able to set up and throw the long ball. They tried to throw it to their 6'7" receiver. Brown just played it perfectly. As the receiver ran past him, he kind of weaved in behind him and just played the ball all the way and went up with 2 hands, caught the ball over his head. I was a little worried. I thought, wow, if we're outsized out there. If that ball's up there high enough, it may be hard to bring down. But Jake did a really good job at jumping up in the air, and credit his rebounding skills because that's exactly what happened there.
And the ball was underthrown. 1st and 10 from the Strasburg 49. Hand off to Rosenbrock right up the gut, and he's driving towards the 45-yard line. They're trying to rip the football out of his arms, but he secures it with 2 hands, and as a gain of 4 to the 45. The tackle was made by Austin Pullman. 2nd down and 6 to go for Brush.
Yeah, Rosenbrock's just not going down like you said earlier. One hit's not going to do it. The whole Strasburg team was on his back. Our guys were watching as Rosenbrock carried him down the field.
2nd down and 6 to go for the 45-yard line in Indians territory. Tormolin on the pitch right to Arribas. Tons of running room to the outside of the 40, and is going to be short of a 1st down. Couldn't break out of a tackle by Brian Nichols. It's a gain of 5 for Arribas. I thought he was going to get a 1st down easy, but Nichols made a nice play on the outside. It'll be 3rd down and 1 to go for the Bee-Diggers at the Indians' 40-yard line.
I just watched Rosenbrock, who was, he was the fake guy. And they're pitching it right underneath his arms to get it out there to our pitch man out there. But I watched Rosenbrock just take number 74 Austin Pullman and pancake block him right to the ground. He just ran right over the top of him and planted him.
3rd and 1 from the Strasburg 40. Handoff Rosenbrock left side. 1st down. Stiff arm to the 35. And then he's tripped up inside the 35 to the 33. It's a gain of 7 for Rosenbrock, who nearly broke another tackle.
183 yards now for Rosenbrock, who's doing it not just running the ball, but also his share of the blocking.
Committed to serving those in production. Ag Premier Farm Credit is the gold standard in ag lending, and for the best prices and special offers on top quality car parts and accessories, visit Central Auto Parts, 1001 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. 1st and 10 for the Bee-Diggers at the 33-yard line of the Indians. 6:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Brush 36, Strasburg 21. Nico Guzman is the receiver to the right. And on first down, there's the handoff to Rosenbrock running left. He's got a first down. He spins, breaks out of a tackle along the left sideline, tackled inside the 25, close to the 21. But it is a first down for Brush. Let's see where it is marked. Austin Pullman makes the tackle. It's at the 20. It's a gain of 13 for Rosenbrock, and he's closing in now, just a few yards shy of 200.
4 yards shy of 200. 196 is where he's sitting. He tried to break those tackles, but he just ran out of running room over here on the short side of the field. Strasburg tackled him a little bit late, threw him onto our long jump runway.
First and 10 from the 20. Tormolin rolls to his right on the bootleg. He's got running room to the outside of the 15, along the right sideline to the 10. Stops, breaks a tackle, the 5, dives for the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown for Mitch Tormolin from 20 yards out. Brush now leads by 3 touchdowns, 42-21.
That takes Tormolin to 97 yards himself, so he's approaching a 100-yard game on the ground. 71 yards in the air. He's having a great night.
And now the extra point to be attempted by Jesus Cardenas. I think they're going to give it a shot here because there has not been one extra point, kicked in the game by Brush, one by Strasburg. The Bee Diggers have made, I believe, 3 two-point conversions. Now the extra point to be attempted by JC off the hold of Tormolin. The snap is a little bit high. The kick is up, and that is good. 5:54 remaining third quarter on homecoming night. Brush 43, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 5 plays, 49 yards in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Mitch Tormolin with a 20-yard bootleg and the extra point. The Bee Diggers are up 43-21 with 5:54 to go in the third.
After we crowned our king and queen, our crowd kind of thinned out a little bit.
Yep.
We got about half as many people here as we had in the first half, but still a pretty strong contingent. They still have the bleachers up on the far side, and I think Strasburg's got about 50 people over there.
Well, hopefully they're all listening to us right now, Dave, as the Bee Diggers are up by 22, and Jesus booms that football into the ground. It's squibbed, and the ball is loose and pounced on at the 33-yard line. And that's pounced on by Dustin Blagg. Strasburg to begin from there. They still have plenty of time to run their conventional offense, but if the Bee Diggers maintain this 3-touchdown lead or extend it, then Strasburg might have to go to the air, which they did on their last drive, and that resulted in a Jake Brown interception.
Yeah, they haven't had a lot of luck in the air. They've only completed 1 out of 4. That one was for 5 yards to Nichols.
First and 10 for Strasburg at their own 33. In a shotgun is Martin. Has the football. One-step drop over the middle of the pass is complete to Nichols. A first down to the 50-yard line. He's brought down by Jake Brown and Jake Morrow, but that's a gain of 17 on the connection from Martin to Nichols.
Boy, as soon as we say that, they come up with that 17-yard pass. But what a nice play. He's lined up clear out here wide. He went down about 5 yards and then ran a post pattern over to the middle. And boy, that's tough for a corner to be able to cover when they're playing, 5 yards off him to begin with. And it looked like we were in a man to coverage in that situation.
This is the 7th time Brush and Strasburg have played. And 6 times the Bee Diggers have eclipsed 40 points. The only time they didn't, they scored 35 3 years ago. Shotgun for Martin. He's going to hand it off to Nichols, running wide to the left. He walks out of a shirt tail, and he continues it, driving inside the 40 to the 36, maybe the 35. Yeah, Maverick Seawald almost had him back behind the line of scrimmage. Instead, it's a gain of 15 for Nichols.
Yeah, Seawald had a hold of him with his left hand. He had a hold of his jersey because he couldn't get quite close enough to him to make a solid grab on him. And he held on for a minute, but boy, that's tough to do when it's cold out there and your fingers are starting to freeze.
First and 10 for Strasburg at the Bee Digger 35-yard line with 4:53 to go in the third. Brush 43, Strasburg 21. Martin again in a shotgun formation. Man in motion to the right. That's Blau. He's got the handoff. Runs wide to the right, and he slams into a Bee Digger who brings him down. That's Kyle Rosenbrock making the play after a gain of 1 to the 34, 2nd and 9. Great individual play by the sophomore.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting his head in front. It was a textbook tackle. He was making that contact low. He started on his hips and ended up having to come up a little bit higher because Blau lowered his shoulder on him. But he had his head in front and he wrapped up and kept his feet at the same time. So he did a good job there.
2nd down and 9 to go for the Indians at the 34-yard line of Brush. 2 receivers out to the left and 2 to the right. Martin again in a shotgun. In motion to the left is Nichols. He's going to take it himself right up the gut. Martin tackled by Rosenbrock, but not before he gets to close to the 26-yard line. That's a gain of 8. 3rd and 1 to go for Strasburg.
So again, they get us looking. They run that fly, one way, they run it the other way, then they come back and run it the other way again. And so we're starting to look for the ball out there, and Martin did a good job of making some fakes before, and that's what opened the play up for him this time as he kept it.
From the 27, they back it up a yard, 3rd and 2 in B-Digger territory. Nichols again in motion to the left, quarterback keeper, and short of the first down is going to be Jacob Smith. He gets a yard and then is driven back. Randy Baker was the first B-Digger end of the play along with Jake Morrow. 1-yard gain for Smith. It'll be 4th and 1 at the 26, and Strasburg has to go for it as we approach the 3-minute mark of the third with the Indians down by 22.
Last time they went for it, we were down there on the goal line. We were expecting them to run it up the middle with the quarterback keeper or maybe slamming Smith up in there, and they ended up running it on that end around. We'll see if they don't come back with that same strategy, trying to take it outside wide when the Diggers are expecting them to pound it up the middle.
4th and 1 from the 26. Martin is under center this time. Nichols in motion to the left, and I think the B-Diggers jumped, or was there a timeout? No. Timeout, Brush. Brought to you by Greg Mullen at State Farm Insurance. Let the State Farm Insurance office of Greg Mullen and Brush help you find the best policy to fit your life, home, auto, life, and health. 842-4555. Yeah, this is really it's a big play in the game for Strasburg. The Indians don't get the first down. This game is definitely over, in my opinion, even though we are only late in the third. But the B-Diggers have not punted yet. If Strasburg does get the first down, it doesn't hurt Brush as much because of the 22-point advantage they currently hold.
Well, Coach Creighton called that timeout. Strasburg came out, and they were in more of a double tight with those double wing formation. They're stretching our defense out up there on the line of scrimmage, and he must have seen something. It's good he slowed the game down there.
Nichols in motion to the left. There's a handoff up the middle, and nothing. That's going to be a stop right at the line of scrimmage. Rosenbrock wraps up the ball carrier. Jacob Smith and the B-Diggers will take over on downs.
Yeah, he actually even lost a yard. Rosenbrock flew up there from his linebacker position. He must have been on a blitz, or he read it so quick he went up there and filled the hole real quickly. And just a nice defensive series there for the Diggers.
Oh, outstanding. The football's now at their own 26-yard line. And the B-Diggers have got it 1st and 10. And they're going to keep this ball on the ground. And they can eclipse or get to the 50-point mark at least. They scored 50 opening game of the season against Ray. Handoff running wide to the right is Jake Morrow. His stiff arm breaks a tackle at the 30, still on his feet to the 35, spinning and driving his way towards the 37-yard line, very close to a first down. Original line of scrimmage was actually the 27, not the 26. And from this vantage point, I think he might be half a yard short. No, they're going to give it to him. 1st and 10. Well, now they're going to mark it at the 36-yard line, so it is a first down, so I guess the original line was the 26. 1st and 10. It is cold, but not as cold here as it is outside.
Hey, Morrow, he did a good job there. Every time somebody tried to make a tackle, he used a stiff arm, he used a lot of strength, but he just kept veering outside. His guys held on to him. He kept driving his legs, so as they kept tackling him, he kept gaining ground.
From the 36, Tormolen, play action, pressure coming, still coming, deep towards the right side. The pass is incomplete. Intended at the 40-yard line for Randy Baker. Well defended over there. 2nd down and 10 to go.
It was about 2 yards over his head, or over his hands, and they were above his head, so it was definitely overthrown. But again, the Diggers stretching that Indian defense out and keeping them from keying on the run so much, which is going to open up that running game even more.
Yeah, that was one-on-one coverage. Nobody else was out there besides Baker and the Strasburg defender. 2nd down and 10. The Bee Diggers have the football at their own 36-yard line, up 43-21 with 1:56 to go, third quarter. Backs are split. Tormolen hands it off to Rosenbrock, running left. Check that. That's Morrow. Morrow across the 40-yard line, stops, cuts it back towards the middle, and he's dragged down across the 45 to the 49-yard line. A gain of 13 for Jake Morrow as Jacob Smith makes the play. That's a first down for Brush.
So Morrow 35 yards on 3 carries and really doing the job. Again, this play looked a lot like the last one where once he got past that initial surge, he just kept driving his feet, and even though Indians were trying to tackle him, he just kept gaining ground as they kept driving into him.
1st and 10 for Brush at their own 49-yard line. Mitch Tormolen gets play instructions from head coach Randy Dreitz. And now back up to the line of scrimmage. Jake Brown is the receiver to the left with a back split on 1st down and 10 from the 49-yard line. Tormolen is going to hand it off to Arribas. He's got nothing. And he might have lost the football. No. He's going to stay with the Bee Diggers there. But Tanner Fahey made the tackle. 2nd down and 10 to go for Brush.
They just tried to run that 25 dive over here on this side. Man, there was nothing there. He was lucky he even held on to the football because they met him right at the line of scrimmage. I think they were blitzing a linebacker on this side on that play.
Under a minute to go in the third. The Bee Diggers have a 22-point lead. 43-21. 2nd and 10 from their own 49-yard line. With a back split. In motion to the right is Baker. Tormolen hands it off to Morrow, running right across the 50 to the 45. Speed to burn at the 35, up the right sideline to the 30, and tackled from behind inside the 25 to perhaps the 24 for Jake Morrow. It's a gain of 27 and a Bee Digger first down. Morrow has 50 yards on this drive alone.
62 yards total on 4 carries, so just a real good average he's got out there right now. And you know, it's like an off tackle play where they fake the dive and then they give it to Morrow when he runs off tackle. But, once he gets through there, it's not like he's going upfield. He's just veering towards the sideline and just having a lot of luck because there's so much running room.
1st and 10 for the Bee Diggers at the Strasburg 24-yard line. Baker is in motion to the left. The pitch left to Eddie Arribas, swinging it to the outside of the 20, and he slams into defenders and keeps on driving and is down inside the 20 to about the 17. That'll be the final play of the third quarter with the score. Brush 43, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Well, the Bee Diggers are 16 yards away from extending the lead. John Beltran with Dave Urich as we begin the fourth quarter. And Brush leads Strasburg by a 43-21 count. 1st and 10. Check that. 2nd and 2 with Baker in motion to the right. And there's the handoff to Michael Gutierrez running it to the outside of the 10-yard line. He's going to be dragged down at the 10, maybe the 9 by Spencer Blau. But it's a first down for Gutierrez. Looks like a gain of 6. In fact, 1st and goal for the Bee Diggers.
Mikey runs hard. That was that quick pitch to the right side, and they faked it by pitching it underneath their fullback's hands. But he didn't try to run around the outside of the defensive ends. He saw that block, and he cut it up inside early and then took it to the outside. And that's what picked up those yards for him.
At the 10, 1st and goal for Brush. Morrow and Gutierrez in the backfield. In motion to the left is Baker. The handoff to Morrow, stutter stepping to the 5, straight up the gut, touchdown for Jake Morrow, 10 yards away. Brush 49, Strasburg 21.
72 yards for Morrow now on 5 carries. And boy, some good blocking by that offensive line up there. We haven't said their names enough. Seawald and Stratman, that was the side they ran to. Costa's at the center position, then Lopez and Carwin on the right side, and then Ben Mickey at that tight end. Those guys are really doing the job up on the line of scrimmage.
Now the extra point to be attempted by the homecoming king, Jesus. Mitch Tormolen to hold. This will be the second time this season the Bee Diggers have hit the 50-point mark. They did it on opening night against Ray. Awaiting the snap. It's perfect. The kick is up. That one is good. 11:31 to go in the game. Brush 50, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 8 plays, 74 yards in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Jake Morrow scores for the first time in the game from 10 yards out. Extra point was good. Bee Diggers now lead the Indians 50-21. And Jesus Cardenas to kick it off. Homecoming queen tonight was Alex White. And with a 29-point advantage, this is where we thought the Bee Diggers pretty much would be by the end of the game, Dave. They're here a little bit less than a quarter earlier than that.
There's plenty of time to put some more points on the board. Tell you what, we got 3 guys that are really close to 100. Well, one of them, Rosenbrock's got 200 yards almost. Tremolin's nearly got 97 on the ground, and Marl's already got 72 yards on the ground. So be slick to get 3 guys over that 100-yard mark.
Ball is squid, picked up at the 33, and there is Blagg across the 33 to the 39. And the Indians will have the football at the 39. 33 seconds into the fourth, down by 29.
See, Arnaldo Maltos is out there, number 12, a freshman, out there on that kickoff team and hustling down the field. First time he touches the ball as a Bee Digger last week, he scores a touchdown.
From 15 yards out, that was their 7th and final touchdown of the game. And the Bee Diggers have scored 7 touchdowns tonight. 1st and 10, shotgun formation for Martin, has the football, going to keep it himself right up. They got a big hole. A flag is down. He is across the 45 towards the 50. It would be a gain of 11, but it looks like this one is going backwards.
Yeah, that official that was standing behind our defense threw that thing right at the offensive lineman that looked like he about tackled our linebacker.
It is a hold against Strasburg. You don't have to travel out of town to receive the best and most advanced hearing health care. Visit Platte Valley Hearing Center, 409 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan, and serving you the best coffees, lattes, and smoothies. Willow Coffee, Tea, and Smoothies now open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to better serve you, and ready to make your favorite specialty drink or offer a sweet treat. Stop by and see them at 921 Edison Street in Brush, open until kickoff for each home game. Football will be placed at the 34. It amounts to a 5-yard penalty. 1st down and 15. Shotgun. Martin throws out to his left, incomplete. And he either didn't follow through or might have been grabbed because that fell well short of the target. Spencer Blau. Rather odd-looking pass. 2nd down and 15 to go. Keeping community banking simple and committed to their community. Morgan Federal Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Chase Klein's out there on our defense now at one of those defensive end positions, number 35. Last week he had a lot of big plays.
2nd down, we'll call it 14 from the 35-yard line. Martin a shotgun. 2 receivers to the left and right. Low snap, and that direct snap goes to Smith, and he runs to his right across the 35 to the 37, a gain of 2. And it was made over there by Tyler Stratman. It'll be 3rd down at about 12.
So that takes Smith up to 9 yards on the day on 9 carries, so 1 yard average. He's had a rough night.
Strasburg might have to throw the football at this point. Down by 29. Well, I mean, that's easy to say. The lead is pretty much insurmountable right now. 3rd and 12 from their own 37. Shotgun for Martin. Fakes. Over the middle of the pass, going to be incomplete. Intended at the 49-yard line for Spencer Blau. 4th down and 12. And, well, the Indians punt the football. I would think they would. I mean, they're down by so much here. Don't try to go for it and have the Bee Diggers build an even bigger lead. The 71 combined points is still far short of the record for these two teams when Brush won 69-18 in 2008. 87 combined points in that matchup. Blau to punt, standing at his own 25-yard line. Perfect snap. He runs to his right, and now he gets it off high along the sideline and very deep. Bounces inside the 20, takes a huge Strasburg roll, and out of bounds. That ball looks like it might have gone all the way to the 7. That is a monster punt. If it's at the 7, I mean, that's along the other side. And the line of scrimmage was the 37. Be about a 56-yard punt, and the Bee Diggers are going to start deep in their own territory. Well,
mostly in the air, too. And it looked like he was going to fake because he was running to the sideline. I was thinking, oh, my goodness, I can't believe they're going to try to run a fake on this play when they have so far to go. But he was going to punt it all the time. And maybe it's because he had such a huge run at it, but that might be one of the best punts I've ever seen in high school football.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
A 56-yard punt. Well,
it was high.
Yeah, very high. Well, when the Bee Diggers started at their 7 last week against University, Rosenbrock went 93 yards for a score. 1st and 10. Handoff, Rosenbrock running right. He's not going to get 93 here. He might get 3, if even that. They'll give him 2 yards to the 9. Dugan Warner made the tackle. 2nd down and 8 to go. Under 10 minutes to go in the game. Brush leads 50-21.
So 198 yards now for him. He still needs 2 more, but he's coming out of the game. Jake Marl's going in, and now Jake's going to have a shot at getting to that 100-yard mark.
Morrow scored Brush's 7th touchdown, a 10-yarder. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Bee Diggers at their own 9-yard line. One receiver out to the left. Tormolin is going to hand it off right up the gut, and check that. Morrow's got a yard, and that's it. Warner makes another tackle. 3rd down and 7. And the Bee Diggers more than likely just going to stay conservative with a big lead.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to eat some clock up and go into the locker room and warm up.
Don't let finances stand in your way of pursuing your college education. Visit MCC online at www.morgancc.edu or stop by the campus for a personal advising session that will get you on the right track and find out what options are available to help you. No matter what age you are at MCC, you can imagine your possibilities. Believe in yourself and achieve your goal. 3rd and 7. The pitch left to Arribas. Stops, runs it back towards the middle, and he's down at the 11. It's a gain of 1. And they might not even give him that full 1, but it's going to be 4th down and 6, and the Bee Diggers might be punting for the first time in 2 games because they have not punted since the Platte Valley game. Here comes Kyle Rosenbrock onto the field.
See a lot of guys heading out there. Christian DeLong, you don't usually see him going out there on offense, so it is a punting situation as they bring in those extra guys.
So Rosenbrock standing in his end zone, awaiting the snap, and that's a good one. Rosenbrock gets it off a low line drive, and it's going to go off the hands and now fielded at the 50-yard line by Nichols, and he tries to break out of a tackle at the 46. He slams into Bee Diggers, and Randy Baker brings him down at the 45.
Christian DeLong, he was the first one down there. He grabbed a hold of his legs, but he couldn't quite hold on and finish him off himself, so he had him by the legs, and then Baker ran in there, and it was like a teeing off on a golf shot.
1st and 10 for Strasburg. The football's at the Bee Digger 45 with 7:53 to go in the game. And Brush with a 50-21 lead.
No, I was just thinking about our, what we have out there on the field. I really miss watching Brett Bostrom. He was having such a great season running the football, and then he was the guy defensively that could run down anybody. He'd been doing that every year of his career, making those big tackles and preventing touchdowns.
Jacob Smith takes the direct snap, then he runs right up the gut for a couple of yards to the 43. Tyler Stratman with the initial penetration. 2nd down and 8 to go. 7.5 to go in the game, and the Bee Diggers are up by 29 points, and Strasburg in no hurry. They just got to run their normal offense, Dave, for future games.
Yeah, they just need to eat that clock up and try to keep the score from getting any worse. I see Brandon Buring just hustled out there on the field. Be playing some defensive line.
2nd down and 8 for the 43. Man in motion to the right. There's the handoff, running room to the outside of the 40, inside the 40, diving to the 35. Close to a 1st down is Detmer Oliver, the sophomore. Give him a gain of 8. Alec Peterson made the tackle. But Oliver with a nice gain for Strasburg, and that is a 1st down. Look to the team at Valley View Villa for rehab, short-term or long-term care needs. Stop by 815 Fremont or call them 867-8261 at Valley View Villa. And Stubbs Gas and Oil, I-76 and Highway 39 in Wiggins. Don't delay and get there to see why convenience is Stubbs' middle name. Two receivers out to the left and to the right. 1st and 10 for the Beat Digger 35. Man in motion to the left. That might be Oliver. He's got the handoff. Stutter steps, jitterbugs to the 30-yard line. Backs his way to the 26. Christian DeLong made the first hit, but it's a gain of 9 for Detmer Oliver. 2nd down and 1. Check that. It was that Oliver or Johnny Wallace? Yeah, Angel Medrano with a carry. All right, so that's 2nd down and 1 to go from the 26-yard line.
He's a shifty back, boy, a lot of speed, but he could change directions well.
On 2nd and 1 from the Beat Digger 26, and the keeper up the middle. 1st down, gain of 2 for Martin to the 24. Before the Beat Digger tackle was made by Chase Klein.
Martin's thrown the ball 7 times. Now he's run the ball 7 times for a total of 66 yards on the night.
Under 6 minutes to go in the game. Brush 50, Strasburg 21. The Indians have the football. 1st and 10 at the Beat Digger 24-yard line. Brush has scored 98 points combined the last 2 weeks. From the 24, and a shotgun formation is Martin. And the direct snap is to Blagg, and he's running right up the gut, just carrying defenders inside the 20. Dustin Blagg to about the 15-yard line. They'll give him 8 on the play. 2nd down and 2.
That play was kind of a quick hitter. We have some guys out there that haven't been in the game, so it kind of caught him by surprise.
2nd down and 2. That ball just inside the Beat Digger's 16-yard line. Now the Beat Digger's just waiting for that clock to run out, but we still have a lot of time before that happens. There's the snap, the handoff to Oliver, running right to the 15. 1st down inside the 15 to the 10, maybe the 9. Gain of 7 yards on the play. Eligio Barraza made the tackle for Brush. 1st and goal for the Indians.
When he was in my gym class at the middle school, I used to call him Cookie Barraza. That's what all the kids called him.
I like that.
He's a real athletic kid. You know, he's in 6th grade, and he's a shorter, stockier kid, and he was running that mile in low 6-minute time, so he's got a lot of athletic ability.
1st and goal, they'll mark it at the 8. 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Man in motion, and there is the give running wide to the left, breaking a tackle at the 10-yard line, but then getting knocked down. There's a late flag down, and Angel Medrano on the carry. Christian DeLong was there to make the play. That's going to be a loss back to the 11. As he was spun back. And now let's see what the flag is all about.
But I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was thrown for the end zone, holding against Strasburg. And that might be marked off from the end of the run, which means it would still be a 1st down. But it'd be 1st and goal at about the 21-yard line. So a loss of 3 there by Medrano. Well, now the Beat Diggers have a pretty good shot to keep them out of the end zone. 1st and goal from the 21. Medrano's the receiver to the right. Martin in a shotgun. Has the football. 2-step drop. Throws out to his right. The pass is incomplete. Off the hands of Logan Huser. 2nd down and 10. 4:17 to go in this game from Brush. A long night, Dave.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's been there's been a lot of plays. You know, we had that covered pretty well. If Maltos Garcia was over there, he was right there. If the kid would have made the catch, he would have made the tackle. And if he'd have missed the tackle, Cameron Alexander, number 87, was over there at his cornerback position ready to help clean it up.
2nd and goal from the 21-yard line. Again, Martin in a shotgun, has the snap, hands off to Oliver, running wide, doesn't have much running room, and is going to be taken down close to the line of scrimmage as Maltos Garcia was out there for the final hit. And Edgar Rojas had penetration as well. It's a gain of about 1 for Oliver. 3rd down and goal from the 20.
Christian DeLong shot in there, too, from his linebacker position and helped start to trip him up. I noticed Mikey Gutierrez is playing the cornerback position out here on the Beat Digger sideline side.
Third down and goal. 2 plays left for Strasburg on this possession unless the Bee Diggers commit a defensive penalty, which merits a first down from the 20. And there's the keeper by Martin right up the middle, and he's going to get a few yards towards the 15-yard line. Maltos Garcia right there. The freshman makes the play. It's a gain of close to 5. And this will be the 11th play of the drive coming up, and it'll be the final play unless there's a defensive penalty. 4th and goal from the 15 for Strasburg with 3:09 to go in the game, and the Bee Diggers up 50-21.
Conrad Cole's playing a cornerback position out there as well. Another sophomore, great athlete. He was a state placer last year in wrestling. He took 3rd.
In a shotgun formation is Martin. Awaits the snap, has the football, 3-step drop, lobs it up the left sideline, and that pass is going to be incomplete out of the end zone. And defended very well there by the Bee Diggers. It'll be Bee Digger football. And it was defended over there by Conrad Cole. So Brush has it with 2:46 to go in the game. And the G-man is in. Grayson Simmons, they'll be quarterbacking here.
That's awesome. You know, on the defensive line, we had Levi Abbott was out there, and also Carlos Montez, number 78, was playing some defensive nose guard for us.
So the Bee Diggers with their secondary unit out there. 1st and 10 from their own 15. Grayson Simmons at quarterback will hand it off, and running right is Michael Gutierrez. Across the 15 to the 16. It's a gain of about 1. 2nd down and 9 to go for Brush with 2.5 to go.
Mikey Gutierrez, he sure does run hard when he gets the ball, and usually does a pretty good job of protecting. I know he's going to beat himself up a little bit over that fumble earlier in the game, but it was nice to see him come back and have another nice run later on.
On 2nd down and 9 for the 16-yard line. The Bee Diggers are just looking to run out the clock here and come away with their 4th win of the season. And there is the pitch right to Cole. Breaks out of a tackle, swings it to the right side across the 20, spinning across the 25, still on his feet. He's got a first down to about the 28-yard line. Hard running. It's a gain of 12 yards and a first down by Cole.
You know what? He is a stop and starter kind of guy, man. He's running hard, and then he's able to, because of his size, I think it gives him an advantage to be able to stop and go so quick, and it makes these defenders miss a lot.
That's essentially going to do it, too. The Bee Diggers can run out this clock after the gain of 12 by the sophomore Conrad Cole with a football just shy of the 28-yard line. 1st and 10. Man in motion to the right. There's the give up the middle to Cole across the 30 to the 34, gain of 6. 2nd down and 4 to go for Brush. Inside, 1:30 to go in the game. The Bee Diggers up by 29. They never trailed. They've been up by double digits most of the game. Strasburg did come back a couple of times in the opening half. 2nd down and 4 at the 34. 2 more plays left for the Bee Diggers in this game as long as they keep the play in bounds. Simmons under center, sending a man in motion to the left. That's Chase Klein, and there's a flag before the play commences. Clock stops with 1:02 to go. And that will be illegal procedure against Brush.
Yeah, our offensive tackle over on the left side, he jumped. It was kind of one of those things where you're out there all by yourself and you move a little too quick, and it was easy to see.
2nd down and 8 from the 29-yard line. Under a minute to go in the game with the clock running. Simmons turns, hands it off on the left side to Gutierrez. Spins across the 35 to the 39. A hard run by Michael Gutierrez, and that results in a Bee Digger first down, a gain of 10.
We got some new blockers out there, too, at center. We have Tristan Teeter doing a good job of snapping the ball, and another one of our offensive linemen, Jose Rodriguez, is out there. I see Brennan Buring on the field.
And this will be the final play of the game with 35 seconds to go, and the Bee Diggers now getting up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Man in motion to the left. Simmons will hand it off to Gutierrez, running left to the 45, into the secondary at the 50, spinning across the 40-yard line towards the 39. Another big run from Michael Gutierrez, a gain of 22 and a first down. And that should be the final play of the game. The clock is stopped for the movement of the chains. But the Bee-Diggers don't need to run another play. Final score tonight on homecoming night. Brush 50, Strasburg 21 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Urich back from Bee-Digger Stadium in Brush. Welcome to the Bee-Digger post-game show, brought to you by Buildings by Design. Buildings by Design in Brush takes pride in their workmanship and quality of their relationships with clients. For a free bid, call Pat Walter, 842-5837. Building today's business. Buildings by Design. The Bee-Diggers win the game over the Strasburg Indians 50-21. Brush took a 6-0 lead moments into the game on a 58-yard run by Kyle Rosenbrock, then extended it to 14-0 after the extra point was blocked. A 4-play 39-yard drive in less than 1 minute. Rosenbrock runs it in from 11 yards out and runs in the 2-point conversion. However, Strasburg got on the board on a 42-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown by Spencer Blau as Michael Gutierrez fumbled the football. PAT was no good. It was 14-6. Bee-Diggers came back a 5-play, 77-yard drive in 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Rosenbrock from 24 yards out. It was 20-6. But following a 78-yard kickoff return from Brian Nichols, Strasburg responds 3 plays later, 11-yard run by Mitchell Martin, 20-13 the score, just a 12-yard drive. The Bee-Diggers, with 8:53 to go in the second quarter, went on a 7-play, 3-minute and 7-second drive. It capped it off with 8:53 to go. Rosenbrock from a yard out, 2-point conversion run was good. It was 28-13. And then became a 28-21 game. It got very interesting. Strasburg, 12 plays, 62 yards in 6 minutes and 12 seconds. On 4th and goal, Jacob Smith scores from a yard out. Also catches the 2-point conversion pass. But Brush, before the break, got a 57-yard pass from Mitch Tormolin to Ben Mickey, and the 2-point conversion run by Rosenbrock made it 36-21. And that was the halftime score. It was all Bee-Diggers in the second half, outscoring Strasburg 14-0. Mitch Tormolin, a 20-yard run, capping off a 5-play, 49-yard drive. And then Jake Morrow scores on a 10-yard run, an 8-play, 73-yard drive in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. And the Bee-Diggers win the game 50-21. Let's look at the numbers for Brush. Lots of big numbers, Dave, on the ground.
You know, Kyle Rosenbrock led the team again. He's got to be one of the top rushers in the state. 17 carries. He had 198 yards. And, you know, the thing is, you could say, well, you know, he's the guy that gets the ball, you know, on the plays that work. But the bottom line is, you know, every play will work, but you got to make them work. And Kyle runs so hard, and he just goes 100% so hard, and he's so sure of himself and confident. And then along with his size and strength, you know, he's just picking up the big yards. 17 carries, 198. Our next highest rusher was Mitch Tremolin. He carried the ball 5 times for 97 yards. And then we had Jake Morrow, who carried the ball 6 times for 73 yards. Eddie Urives had the ball 12 times, but 39 yards on his carries. Mikey Gutierrez carried the ball 5 times for 38 yards. And then Conrad Cole picked up 18 yards on 2 carries there at the end of the game. Mitch Tremolin threw the ball 5 times. He completed 2 of those. One was a 14-yard pass to Randy Baker that came up a yard short from the end zone. And then the big cousin connection to Ben Mickey was a nice touchdown pass and a good run there by Mickey at the end to pick up 57 yards. They had 52 plays, 463 yards on the ground, 71 yards in the air, and 534 yards total offense. It was a pretty good offensive line.
Oh, outstanding. On the Strasburg side, Dave.
You know, you take a look at Brian Nichols. He was the guy that led the charge for them on the ground as far as running backs go. He carried the ball 10 times for 37 yards. Blau had 5 carries for 4 yards. Smith had 10 carries for 11 yards. Oliver had 4 carries there towards the end of the game for 23 yards. Black had 2 carries for 10 yards. And then Madrano had 2 carries for a total of 0 yards since he ended up having to take a run for a loss. Martin Mitchell was their leading offensive output. He had 66 yards total offense, 22 in the air. He completed 2 of 7 passes for 22 yards, and then he had 44 yards on the ground and 7 carries. Nichols caught both of those passes. One was a 5-yard pass. The other one was a 17-yard pass. He had 48 offensive plays for a total of 143 yards.
Strasburg drops to 2-2 in Patriot League play, 3-3 overall. The Bee-Diggers are now 2-2 in league play and they are 4-2 on the season. Momentarily, we'll talk to head coach Randy Dreitz, and then we'll have a T.O. Charlie's Bee Digger player of the game as the Bee Diggers come away with a convincing 50-21 victory. Easy to say a tale of two halves, Coach, but it was a 14-0 second half. That first quarter was pretty wild. I'm sure you're very happy with the offense. However, there was a fumble returned, and it was amazing that Strasburg was still even in the game because basically of a fumble and a kickoff return, which nearly went the distance. Other than that, it looked like your team was pretty much dominating the majority of the game.
Yeah, I think so. The mistakes in the first half hurt us, and we've just got to eliminate those mistakes when we play really good teams, and Strasburg's a pretty good football team, and you just can't have those mistakes, okay? And so we talked about that at halftime, and, I got kind of fired up at halftime because I know we're a better football team than that, and the score didn't reflect that. So, what I'm proud of, these kids came out the second half and shut them down and did a great job defensively. Coach Creighton had a great scheme, and we changed up a few things the second half, and he did a great job. And, our offense just we were pretty simple tonight and pretty basic, and we didn't have to get real fancy. They did a tremendous job. And, I think our kids were out there having fun, and that's exciting to see.
Did you have to keep it simple because of the conditions, or was the mistiness in the first half really not a factor at all? Was the field fairly dry?
Well, the field was pretty good condition, really. The ball was getting a little wet and everything, but the field wasn't too bad at all. And we just kept it simple and pretty vanilla, and we just did a great job of doing what we need to do. And Kyle ran the ball tremendously well, and so did Jake Morrow. And I was proud of the way they both ran the football. And, the line did a pretty good job up front blocking. And when things like that happen, good things are going to happen, and I was pleased with it.
Well, there were limited opportunities, though, in the passing game, but there were opportunities, and you converted a couple of big passes, one to Baker at the one, the other one to Ben Mickey. It was nice to spread that out because, after all, I'm sure you're anticipating when the opponents get better, you get to playoff time, you want that passing game to come together, and Mitch didn't throw it too much, but it was obviously enough, I would think, to stretch out that Strasburg defense and at least have them thinking that it wasn't going to be a run every single play.
Exactly. We were able to run the ball really successfully and didn't have to pass very much. And we missed some opportunities, a couple of them there before half, and that was disappointing. But, Mitch threw the ball pretty well, and the guys were catching the ball. And when you can run the football, I don't care. Things are going to get wide open in that passing game, play action pass, and that keeps them honest.
Were there concerns at halftime? You mentioned you were fired up at the players because they should have been playing a little bit better than they were, even though you held a 15-point lead. But were there minor or significant concerns at some point in the first half with the team's tackling, or do you feel the tackling was fairly decent and, there might have been other issues defensively, especially on that drive that went over 6 minutes and took about 62-some-odd yards?
The thing what I was disappointed in at halftime is us not swarming the football. And we made hits and we bounce off, and we make hits and bounce off. And hand it to, their runners. They ran the ball really hard, but we need to do a better job of tackling. And then, we can't just have one or two guys there. We need to be swarming defense. And I could see in the first half that, when we had the situation with two guys had him, and it seemed like the rest of us were stopping. So we need to make sure we get there, and we get there as a team, and, play that swarming defense and make sure that our opponent is down for sure before we quit on a play. But overall, the kids played hard and played good. We just got to clean up a few mistakes here and there.
Final thing, Coach. I know it's a team game, but we're just past halfway through the season. How would you characterize, maybe you're throwing everything together, the play of your sophomore Kyle Rosenbrock, who, you talk about big plays. He can make them at any point in the game.
Yeah, Kyle, he starts up front with that offensive line, giving him a hole to run through, and once he gets through it, he can take it all the way. He's got that kind of speed, and he's just a great football player. And then, there was times when guys had him, and he just kept driving and gaining a few extra yards here and there. There was a first down that was real close that, he had guys hanging all over him making that first down. He's a special player, but again, I've said this before, he can't do it alone, and it's a team sport and a team game, and good, bad, or indifferent, we stick together as a team, and I think that's so important to do.
Okay, we'll talk obviously before the game next week on the road against Valley, but you had University, you had Strasburg, and now, this competition probably gets even tougher with a Vikings team that was playing Eaton tonight.
Yes, and I watched them play a couple of weeks ago on film, and I said then, man, Valley's pretty dang good. They're physical, as we all know from last year.
Almost too physical.
Yeah, they had personal foul after personal foul, and put one of our players out with a concussion, and it was we got to go there again, and it was kind of scary last year with the way they played, and we definitely going to have to be ready for that. And I think they're playing really good, and playing Eaton that tough, they're going to be good. So we have to be focused in and do a great job of both offense and defense and special teams.
Randy, always appreciate your time. Congratulations on another big win tonight.
Thank you very much.
That's Brushhead football coach Randy Dreitz as the Bead Diggers defeat the Strasburg Indians on homecoming night at Bead Digger Stadium. Let me tell you, in front of a pretty darn good crowd considering the conditions out there, especially at the beginning of the game. 50-21 the final score, rejoined by Dave Urig. It's time for the Bead Digger Player of the Game, brought to you by T.O. Charlie's at 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. They will not be beat by anyone when it comes to price. They'll help you find a car that fits your needs and budget. If you don't see what you want, T.O. Charlie's will find it for you. Log on to TOCharliesFTM.com to view inventory, current specials, and apply for a loan online. Drive away with confidence at T.O. Charlie's. And, Dave, several good performances tonight. We know who got us started on the offensive end with a big 58-yard run. We gave it to the offensive line last week. When you have big holes, you give it to the offensive line many weeks, but Kyle Rosenbrock continues to perform, and it's just not offensively. We called his name quite a bit on defense as well.
Yeah, a lot of huge tackles. He's just done a really good job of, making those great form tackles. I heard Coach Dreitz during the postgame talking about, guys need to do a better job of wrapping up and holding on. But, we mentioned it a couple times where he flew in there and had his head in front and made contact nice and low. And so you couple the defensive play along with the 198 yards on 17 carries offensively, some big plays when they needed them. You have to go with Kyle Rosenbrock as a player of the game again.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns as well. Mitch Tormolin did perform very well with a touchdown run and a touchdown pass, but Kyle wins the player of the game, courtesy of T.O. Charlie's for the 4th time this season. Bead Diggers will be back in action coming up on Friday on the road against the Valley Vikings. Dave will be back with me in a couple of weeks when the Bead Diggers face the Sterling Tigers, and that will be a road game as well. We do remind you that we'll have plenty of video on our YouTube channel on KSIR B106 on YouTube, and we'll also have a play-by-play recap on KSIRsports.com. The sound engineer and producer of Brush Bead Digger Football tonight has been Rose Condas. Our replay engineer, the replay is coming up, none other than Trenton Klimper. For Dave Urig, I'm John Beltran. The final score once again tonight from Strasburg. Brush on homecoming night. 50, Strasburg 21, Jesus Cardenas, the homecoming king, and Alex White, the homecoming queen, right here on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.